welcome. You are listening to, you are watching, you are witnessing the afternoon show here on WVON AM 1690, the talk of Chicago. Happy hot Monday. I am Atiba Buchanan.
And I am LaDonna Raeh. I can't even say my name anymore.
It's that
LaDonna
hot?
Raeh. It is that hot.
It is.
For real. I mean, I started not to let the air or turn the air on, but I was, because we've been wanting hot weather. We're always complaining. But
Yeah.
I had to turn that air on because I couldn't breathe.
Amen.
Can't talk
Amen,
either.
and amen. Listen, guys, we have a power pack show today. So we kind of gotta get right into it. We have a very, very esteemed guest. He is a friend of the city. He is a friend of Black media, and we thought we could not think of anyone else who would be more appropriate to help us remember Mother Khadijah, excuse me. I think I'm confusing with and living single.
It was Khadijah there too.
Oh, and I just messed it up.
Yep.
Mother Farrakhan, who passed away at 90 years old, married to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for over 70 years. That said, no more delay.
72 years. That's a long time.
Amen.
Yeah.
Joining us on the live line is our very good friend, NBC5's Art Norman. Thank you, good sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for letting me be on the program. I appreciate it.
Oh,
Big fan of WVON.
I know. We love your support. We love your support. So we want to go straight to you on this. For those, tell us your initial reaction when you heard the news, and then feel free to just talk about Sister Farrakhan for a little bit.
Khadijah Farrakhan was a very kind woman. She helped me win an Emmy Award at NBC because of I was sitting behind her at the Civic Opera House when they had the performance of the Three Mo Tenors.
Oh, you talking my language now.
He perked up.
Those are my guys, but go ahead.
They were on stage singing, and she turned around. She said, Brother Minister, Art Norman's sitting behind us. Can we invite him backstage to meet Rod Dixon and the Three Mo Tenors? And he said, fine, that's fine. And I got to go backstage with the Farrakhans at the Civic Opera House after a standing ovation at the Civic Opera House. Unbelievable. 3 Black men on stage commanding the stage. And I got to meet Rod Dixon, and I talked to him, and I said, listen, I'd love to do a story on you. And I did. I did a story on him and his wife. She is also a world famous opera singer as well. And I won an Emmy Award for that. And I called Sister Farrakhan, and I said, listen, what do I owe you? She said, very simple. Pay it forward, Art. Pay it forward. You don't owe me anything.
And you know what's amazing? What's amazing, Mr. Norman, is that that's what everybody says about you. Everybody says you pay it forward. That's what everybody says. That is like one of the most consistent themes I've heard about you. So that is a absolutely beautiful story. I interviewed Roderick Dixon and his lovely wife when they were doing Too Hot to Handle, but I didn't get an Emmy.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. So such a beautiful heart. Please tell us more about that, or more about them as a couple.
Well, as a couple, she supported him 100%. There was a night when I emceed a banquet for the Big House Games. The legendary basketball coach at Winston-Salem State. He produced some great athletes like Earl the Pearl Monroe. So we were honoring Big House Games in Chicago. And Minister Farrakhan and his wife came to the event. Because why? Minister Farrakhan was a track star at Winston-Salem State. He pledged Omega Psi Phi at Winston-Salem State. A great athlete he was, and a great musician too.
Yes.
But the point is, he was there, and she was there with him. The two were inseparable. They talked. He would start a sentence, and she would finish it, and vice versa. They were on an equal footing when it came to conversation about anything under the sun. What kind people they were. what kind people. And she was the rock behind it. And she's had several children. She lost 2 of them. But the point is, she was always accented the positive. Always accented the positive. Khadijah was a rock. And she didn't have to help me get an Emmy Award, but she did. And she didn't want anything in return. That blew my mind. I said, wow.
Yeah.
She is such a kind lady. Such a kind lady.
You know,
I would sit there and talk to them about the early days of WVON and how I would sit and listen to the radio. And Wesley South, the guy who owned WVON back in the 50s and 60s, Wesley South was on the air 5 days a week in the afternoon drive format with Martin Luther King. And they would be on the air for 4 hours every day. And this is when Martin Luther King lived in Chicago. And they would tell jokes, they would laugh, they'd accept calls. Viewers and listeners would call in and talk to Dr. King. And he'd talk about how good he was at pocket billiards. He broke everybody on the west side of Chicago when he lived there. He would walk into the pool hall and run 8 balls like crazy. But the point is, these two, his daughter, Wesley South's daughter, is a judge, Cook County judge. She took over 1,000 hours of audio tapes of Dr. King and gave it to the DuSable Museum. And this February, there's going to be a huge display of those audio tapes of Dr. King on the radio at WVON. I hope Melody Span picks up on this and puts excerpts on the radio as well. But Dr. King was fascinating on the radio. But those are the kinds of things that Khadijah and I talked about our history.
Yeah.
And we would look at, and Wesley South would make those tapes available, but they were in a garage in boxes and boxes and boxes. And she got all those boxes and gave it to the DuSable Museum. And we, as a people, will benefit from that during Black History Month next year. They just got them, so they're about to take the dust off the tapes and play it for everybody to listen to.
Well, Mr.
But
R.
these are
Norman,
the kinds of things that we talked about when we get together as Black people.
yeah, I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking and highlighting, the loss or the loss of life in the physical for Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, and highlighting the life that she leaves behind and how she inspired and had a hand in so many different things and more to come. I mean, that's a long time for her to give servitude to the nation.
73 years. That ain't no joke, boy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Goodness.
I want to thank you so much for coming on VON. And we're going to go to break, guys. It is time for traffic and weather. And when we come back, more about Mother Khadijah Farrakhan and the life that she lived with Gary Harris. We'll be right back.
More from Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
What's up, Chicago? The movement is growing and the time is now. Join Chicago Reparations as they work to advance justice through advocacy, education, and community engagement. This summer, be a part of a powerful lineup of events, including Reparations Town Hall, Emerald and Pearl Awards, cocktails and conversations, lunch and learns, a taste of gospel, and the world-famous Rib Fest. Whether you are looking to learn, connect, advocate, or celebrate, there's a place for you. Get involved today at Chicago Reparations and follow Chicago Reparations on social media for updates. Get your tickets now at eventbrite.com/Chicago Reparations. This isn't just a conversation, it's a movement. Get on board Chicago Reparations now.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no two people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. The Queen Sleep Number C2 smart bed is now only $9.90. Plus free home delivery when you add any base. Ends Monday. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Hey Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Thousands of homeowners have trusted Blindster.com for their blinds that are easy to order, affordable, and guaranteed to fit. You measure at home, install yourself, and enjoy blinds made exactly for your windows. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Good Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here is your traffic update. Dan Ryan, downtown on 95th. Slow go, 25 minutes. I-57, Ryan I-80, 2-minute delay, 16 minutes. Bishop Ford, Ryan I-80, 94. Slow moving traffic, 21 minutes. Stevenson, DuSable, Lakeshore Drive to the Tri-State stop and go traffic, 36 minutes. Eisenhower, Wolftoe Post Office, stop and go traffic, 31 minutes. Kennedy downtown to O'Hare is at a snail speed, 38 minutes. And Eden's, Montrose Lake Cook, slow moving traffic, 16 minutes. Summertime Shy has arrived. Here's your weather for today. Chicago, hot, humid, and heated index of 100 to 105, high of 94, and a low of 76. Tomorrow, humid, heat index of 100 to 105, high of 94, and a low of 77. It's currently 46 degrees. It's currently 90 degrees and cloudy. I'm Logan Page, and that's your traffic and weather update on WVON 1690 AM.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Is there some cause that I should doubt you? Oh, I can see more that you don't know me very well. You're so unsure, and you run here and there to ask my feelings. Friends only guess, they can't say me. Don't ask my neighbor. Don't ask my friends. I hang around. Don't be afraid.
We are back on the afternoon show. It's 3:24, and we've had a lot of loss. 2026 has been a rough year already. We're just barely halfway through it, and we've had some significant losses this year, and we do our best to make sure that these things are on the front of everyone's minds and hearts. And we are saddened to also announce the passing of Tony Brown, the legendary pioneering journalist, educator, and advocate. He dies at 93 years old. Joining us on the live line, esteemed guest that we are so happy to have with us. LaDonna and I were talking about him because we both just enjoy talking to him. He is so wise, and he has such a beautiful heart. And we're glad to have him, Mr. Gary Harris, host of the Gary Harris Show here on WVON on Saturdays. How you doing, good sir?
What's happening, brother?
And we are fantastic. Thank you so much,
Gary,
for taking time.
Hey, what's happening? I heard all those kind, beautiful words about me. I sure hope I don't let y'all down.
No, of course not. I listen to you quite a few times, and every time I listen, it's like I need to get a notebook. I feel like I'm a student. It's time to take some notes. You give in history and you lay out everything. But because
I'm a nerd.
but it's not just a nerd. You're giving us some financial thought provoking questions and things to think about, just as Tony Brown did. Tony Brown spent his legacy highlighting how Black folks should look at how we spend our money. Not only did he tell us how we should spend our money, but he focused on Black wealth. And because of this, I wanted to definitely make sure that you were in the conversation, or we wanted to make sure that you were here to enlighten the situation and the loss and the great loss of Mr. Tony Brown. What do you think Tony Brown believed the mission of Black media should be, as he got his feet into 40 years of being on PBS with his special? What do you think he thought the role should be?
I think the most powerful thing, and I think he did speak to it at one point in his life, was just the reality that he was able to do that for 40 years without seeking white approval. His comments were always, he wasn't a conservative, he was a radical, but for self-help. And the reality is we always see where Black people start to succeed in different spaces, then they, start misrepresenting what our best interests are in order to find acceptance from the other tribes. And he didn't do that. And he was able to have a show for 40 years and survive, as he would say, and thrive without begging for white approval. He sought his own. I'm certainly a product of the mentality. I mean, I was a student of Swilla McSween. I worked for him and Reverend Jackson, though they saw the world differently, Reverend Jackson and Tony Brown, but there was something to be gleaned from both of them. The most powerful thing for me was about freedom. When you listen to my show, I talk a whole lot about what we could do on our own just by prioritizing one another, particularly in business. And that was very much his mantra. And I certainly grew up studying finance at Chicago State and watching Tony Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like now that I've had the opportunity to be on the radio, WVON came and recruited me, which I appreciate today, that I get to kind of walk in those footsteps. Don't know if I can accomplish as much. But, he was controversial to some extent. People try to call him conservative because he supported Ronald Reagan and he supported Thomas, the Supreme Court Justice. But the reality is what he was really opposed to was our dependency on any system, be it welfare or otherwise. He didn't want us dependent on government programs. He was a critic of the New Deal. His whole point was we could, help ourselves. He wanted us to self-help versus even protest. That we spend our money, his argument was, which I agree with, that wealth was sufficient for freedom, that the only color of freedom in America was greed. Mm-hmm. So I think sometimes when people don't agree with us, I try to create space for that. We might lose the message. We might not realize the education that is before us. And the fact is, I'm very much, about the independence. I'm trying to imitate having a Black firm that doesn't, beg for white approval. And that makes me and everybody like me, dependent upon our own community to do business with us. So I've been trying to prioritize that on my show as he did over 40 years. I don't scratch the surface. So just a really powerful voice in this space, unapologetic, would even indict his own if he disagreed with him. That's a man that stands on his own 2 feet. I got nothing but respect for him. And it's a big loss. But 93 years, I want to say this, that's a fulfilled life.
Mm-hmm.
The losing Khadija is also sad, but we see these full lives. We got young people dying before they turn 25. And there's a lot to be learned. My mother used to say to me, to not have begrudged getting older. She says, a privilege denied many.
Yes.
So you should be grateful if you get there.
Be grateful. I tell you what, we're going to be grateful for this break on time, Mr. Gary Harrison. When we come back, we'll have more time with you on the other side. Definitely want to get into the early stages of his career when he was an educator, and he used that to form his way of journalism. So we're going to come back. We're going to go to news, traffic, and weather right here on WVON 1690.
Hope you're having a marvelous Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here's what's happening in your local and national news. Chicago officials are warning that the heat index could reach around 105 through Wednesday. The Chicago Office of Emergency Management and Communications and Mayor Johnson held a press conference to discuss the extreme heat. Residents are encouraged to take precautions and stay safe during the heat wave. WVON's Annette Flournoy has more.
Mayor Johnson says the city has come a long way from the days of 1995 when as many as 759 people died from extreme heat.
Of course, the coordination is what is most significant here. When I talk about the full force of government, that's what's on display, right? So you have your parks, your libraries, as cooling centers, DFSS coordinating with all of our departments, street outreach workers are available. Those well-being checks have extended beyond senior facilities or homes where seniors live. But the strongest aspect of what's different from when I was in high school to today is the fact that there is stronger coordination between departments.
Fire Commissioner Annette Nance Holt says the fire department has learned from the past on how to keep folks safe.
Most of us up here in the fire department uniforms, we actually worked during that time period. And I can say a lot has changed since then. People recommended like turning on ceiling fans and things like that, which really, or cracking windows sometimes doesn't actually make an apartment cooler. And a lot of people got to know that being a senior, your skin is thinner and you might not get those effects as quicker as someone who's a little younger. So we learned so much from that. We worked closely with unfortunately, the medical examiner to try to figure out ways that we could do things a little differently as well, because there were a lot of things people needed to check on their neighbors. People didn't do that as much.
Chicago cooling sites are open. You can call 311 for the cooling center near you. Also, Chicago public libraries and police stations will serve as cooling sites as well. Annette Flournoy, Our News Now, 1690 WVON.
In other news, the Bears organization are focusing on a stadium site near Wolf Lake in Hammond, Indiana. Team executives released a statement yesterday that says they have an excellent option already in place. Bears officials say they have started testing soil at Wolf Lake Terminal, which is west of I-90 near the original proposed location. The team's board of directors voted this month to move forward with plans for the team to move to Hammond, but fell short of committing to building a stadium there. The Bears own 326 acres in northwest suburban Arlington Heights and have said they remain open to continue talks with Illinois legislators. In other news, Tuesday is set to be a blockbuster day for the Supreme Court. After a flurry of decisions on today, the court is set to hand down rulings on two huge cases, birthright citizenship and transgender athlete bans. The court will rule on a challenge to President Trump's executive order limiting birthright citizenship to children with at least one parent with citizenship or permanent legal status. The court is also weighing in on the legality of states banning transgender athletes from competing in girls and women's school sports. And new polling shows there is bipartisan support for tighter regulation on AI. According to an Artificial Intelligence Policy Institute poll, 68% of respondents said they would be in favor of the government making a formal review process for the most advanced AI models before they can be widely released. When looking along party lines, 64% of Republicans, 76% of Democrats, and 63% of independents back the formal review process. Findings come as efforts to restrict data center construction have gained steam at the state and local level. I'm Logan Page, and that's what's happening in your news now on WVON 1690 AM.
It's Rufus Williams. The thrill of summer is finally here, which also means it'll be over before we know it. This fall, the Rufus Williams Travel Club is heading to Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Join me as we experience the beauty, the brilliance, and the culture of one of America's most captivating cities. We'll enjoy the charm of the Lowcountry, breathtaking scenery, incredible cuisine, and the rich African-American history of Charleston. There will also be a few special surprises designed just for our group. So whether you're traveling alone, with family, or with friends, you'll be welcomed into an unforgettable experience filled with great people and great memories. Space is limited, and the best rates are right now. Simply go to WVON.com, click on the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner, and reserve your space. Advantage International is the official travel partner of the Rufus Williams Travel Club. Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Travel with people, travel with purpose, travel with us.
This is Kamini Khan, certified financial planner professional. For the past year, I've been on a mission to change lives and build wealth in our community. Together, we're changing the paradigm. This year, I'm back with a new series, Wealth Strategies, Money Talks. Join me every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on the Rufus Williams Show as we have thoughtful discussions around building wealth in our community. We'll discuss topics like investing, savings, tax strategies, retirement, and all things money. Yes, that's Tuesday at 8:30 a.m., so set those alarms. Also, be sure to check out the podcast at WVONWealthShow.com.
Komini Khan is a certified financial planner professional with Optimal Planning Partners in alliance with Equitable Advisors, LLC member SIPC in Oak Brook, Illinois. For more information, please call 630-575-5046.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Thousands of homeowners have trusted Blindster.com for their blinds that are easy to order, affordable, and guaranteed to fit. You measure at home, install yourself, and enjoy blinds made exactly for your windows. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Good Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here's happening in your traffic right now. Dan Ryan downtown on 95th, slow go 24 minutes. I-57 Ryan I-80, slow moving traffic 17 minutes. Bishop Ford Ryan I-80 94, slow moving traffic 22 minutes. Stevenson, DuSable, Lakeshore Drive to the Tri-State, stop and go traffic 34 minutes. Eisenhower, Wolfville Post Office, stop and go traffic 31 minutes. Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, bumper to bumper traffic 40 minutes. And Eden's, Montrose Lake Cook, smooth sailing 14 minutes. It's summertime shy Chicago, and here's your weather. Today, hot, humid, and heat index of 100 to 105, high of 94 and a low of 76. Tomorrow, humid, heat index of 100 to 105, again, high of 94 and a low of 77. It's currently 90 degrees and cloudy. I'm Logan Page, and that's your traffic and weather update on WVON 1690 AM.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago. 1690 WVON.
All right. Welcome back. You're listening to the afternoon show on WVON 1690, 63 years and counting. Guys, you can hit those phone lines. It's okay. We don't bite. We didn't do our weekend recap because so much has happened over the weekend, including the loss of Mother Khadijah Farrakhan. And we're reflecting on the loss of the life with Tony Brown, even though I looked up the date that he passed away. That was June 17th, if I'm not mistaken. But it just hit the news just recently. So we still wanted to make recognition of someone as powerful and impactful as Tony Brown. And on the line, we have Mr. Gary Harris, who has his own show on WVON and focuses on the financial aspect of the Black community. And Tony Brown, you know, before we went to break, Mr. Gary Harris, Tony Brown wasn't just trained only as a journalist. He was also an educator. And he took his background in education to shape the way that he approached journalism. It seemed like that was not simply reporting news. It was a way to put you in a classroom when you listen to how he spoke about any given financial topic. Do you think that we've lost some of that educational component in today's media when we're trying to educate the community, or are we just going for shock value and no financial aspect to back it up?
Well, sometimes when I talk, it gets controversial, so brace yourself. The biggest problem, I do agree that we've lost something, but the reality is, to some extent, with the exception of free thinkers like Tony Brown, we never really had it. People don't realize that, I'm trying to be gentle here, that most of us get an education in finance that is written for somebody else. You think about the 1970s when certified financial planners came into existence. Their prototype was a white male with income and inheritance. He had a short duration of unemployment. The whole model was based upon somebody else's lived experience. In that way, it never changed. They continue to build on that platform since the 1970s. Then we go and get educated and qualified in those spaces without ever any of the real realities that we face as a community, as a people, ever being addressed. Not like they deliberately tried to exclude us. We just weren't considered.
Mm-hmm.
And our lived experience is very different than what the academia talks about. That's why, if you look at it, most people who are following traditional financial advice aren't succeeding. If you ask yourself honestly, you can feel it. You just don't know how to name it. It's not working for us.
Right.
We're following the same script as our white counterparts, but just not getting the same results. That's because it was never designed for us. And so our lived experience is very, very different. People like Tony Brown, was bringing Black voices, a Black lived experience to a Black audience, which is the same thing I'm actually trying to imitate in my show on Saturdays. It is, let me talk directly to our people about our real circumstance. But it's very difficult because it's in direct conflict to the information that they're getting all the time through other media sources. The media has failed us because I'm not saying that these advisors or planners, whatever it is, are ill-intended. They're not. They're just not aware of what they don't know. And they've been indoctrinated and educated in strategies that simply don't work for us. And most of the time we don't say it.
I want Atiba to get in this, but I'm just exploding over here thinking about all the books that he wrote, all the years that he was on PBS, and how we're still in the same spot. He gave us the tools. He presented them to us for 40 years, and we're still in the same spot, if not worse. Your thoughts on that?
That's structural. And until that gets addressed, what I mean by it is, we lived this past week, I talked about the architecture of extraction and a system designed first to bring us to America and then to extract labor from us. Well, after they extracted labor from us, and that came to an end, they then started to extract wealth from us, from sharecropping, Jim Crow. Even now as we speak right now, I'm talking about Black people who make, $100,000, $250,000 a year, who own homes. There is still an extraction in place there. They tend to undervalue your house. This is documented. They undervalue Black houses when it comes to appraisals and sales. And they overvalue our houses on assessments when it comes to taxes. So we live in this squeeze of from the bottom to the top. They lower the top for our HELOCs. They lower the top for our sale prices just because we're in the home. And they increase the taxes on it. So, particularly compared to a white house of the same size in a white neighborhood. So there are realities that exist in our financial world that are not the same as other people's experience. And so, but there's no planning component ever created for that to address those issues. And so he was given information, but you lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. The biggest problem we have is we keep blaming ourselves and each other. It ain't about the number of lattes that you drink. The reality of the wealth that we treat as if somebody has mismanaged it through lack of discipline was never theirs to lose. They never got it. Every one of us is starting from zero or less than zero. And financial planning as it exists today, as it is taught today, we all get, these PhDs in disillusionment when we go get these certifications. And except you take a step back and look at the reality that we're dealing with, we can't solve these problems. Dr. King said, we keep finding solutions that don't solve. So listen, let me be clear. I indict everything. I indict the financial industry. I indict, the business I'm in, wealth management. I indict it all because I'm just trying to tell the truth about it. So we're doing that in this space too. We're not getting results because we haven't dealt in the reality that we face. The actions will work if we buy from one another, if we, deliberately seek one another out. If somebody fails us as Black, we go find somebody else Black that does a better job. That math does work, but it has to be done in mass, and we have to have a tolerance for some things. it's going to cost you a little more because Black people aren't getting in their business the same prices that their competition is getting. We don't have the buying association, particularly in the beauty industry, where other people have buying cohorts that cooperate and are able to buy at lower prices. Well, you can put the buying cohort together, but you're still going to be at war because they're trying to marginalize.
That's right.
So we have to be very deliberate and intentional about identifying, culturally competent sources in everything that we're doing, particularly in finance.
Gary, you're cooking right there. We got to get Atiba in there. He ain't said a word.
I'm taking notes. I am sitting here taking notes. Look, you pretty much took us to the break, and what I was doing was watching how the chat was lighting up.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So they are loving your comments in the chat. Miss Karen is on hold. I don't want to rush her, so let's hit this break right on time. We'll take Karen's call on the way back, and then we'll get some closing thoughts from you, Mr. Harris. But thank you so much. I knew this was going to be enlightening.
It's Gary.
It's Gary.
We about to have lunch, okay? All right, guys, we're going to go to traffic and weather and more on the other side with Mr. Gary Harrison. Straight to the calls, actually. We'll be right back.
More from Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Chicago has always been a city of harmony, and few groups embody that better than the Emotions. Formed on Chicago's west side, the Emotions began as a gospel group before bringing their rich harmonies and soulful sound to the world. With hits like Best of My Love, Don't Ask My Neighbors, and Boogie Wonderland, they became one of the defining female vocal groups of their era. Working with fellow Chicago legends, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Emotions helped shape the sound of the 1970s, blending soul, funk, and R&B into timeless music that continues to inspire generations. From Chicago churches to stages around the world, the Emotions proved that great harmony never goes out of style. They gave Chicago its soundtrack, and the world never stopped listening.
Brought to you by AARP, a proud supporter of Black Music Month.
Catch Reverend Al Sharpton online at WVON.com or on the WVON app. Just click the Al Sharpton banner. Tune in every day at 12 noon for your daily dose. And if you miss it, catch the overnight replay from midnight to 3 a.m. We're keeping it real with Al Sharpton on WVON 1690.
Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, inviting you to join me weekdays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here on WVON. I am bringing you a national perspective on all the happenings in the Black community and, of course, politics. It's talk radio for us, by us, and this is where America listens.
It's Tavis Smiley, weekdays from 6 to 9 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Thousands of homeowners have trusted Blindster.com for their blinds that are easy to order, affordable, and guaranteed to fit. You measure at home, install yourself, and enjoy blinds made exactly for your windows. Blindster.com.
WVON, traffic and weather now.
Good Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here is your traffic update. Dan Ryan, downtown to 95th. Slow go, 24 minutes. I-57 rides I-80, stop and go traffic, 16 minutes. Bishop Ford rides I-80, 94, slow go, 23 minutes. Stevenson, DuSable, Lakeshore Drive to the Tri-State, stop and go traffic, 37 minutes. Eisenhower, Wolf to Post Office, 17-minute delay, 32 minutes. Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, bumper to bumper traffic, 47 minutes. And Eden's, Muncho, Slate Cook, smooth sailing, 14 minutes. The weather for today, Chicago, hot, humid, and heat index of 100 and 105, high of 94, and a low of 76. Tomorrow, humid, heat index again of 100 to 105, 94, and a low of 77. In our city, it's currently 93 degrees and partly cloudy. I'm Logan Page, and that's your traffic and weather update on WVON 1690 AM.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Makes me frown. It's not the same. When you tell me I should go to you about my name. When you call
Oh, this sounds like the emotions. How are your emotions, Mr. Atiba?
My emotions are all over the place.
I was gonna say all over the place.
All over the place, but mainly I'm just feeling honored and happy.
Yeah,
to be here on WVON. You know, this is
you sound a little somber today.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but I'm getting there.
Yeah.
But sometimes, we're talking about loss, and
it gets to you.
Yeah, and so we've had two major losses, and part of the reason that I get so, I won't say frustrated, but somber is a good word, is because when we have some of these losses, I can't see the immediate passing of the baton, right?
Yeah.
So the loss feels bigger because it feels like, oh man, we don't even know who's going to be carrying that mantle.
Does the loss feel bigger than the void, or the void bigger than the loss?
The void feels bigger than the loss until
it's filled.
Hold on, no. Until we started talking to Gary Harris.
Oh, Gary's head just went.
and then I get encouraged, and then I get inspired, not just because of the individual knowledge contained in his brilliant mind, but more importantly, the heart of his that is so willing to share it.
That part. Share knowledge.
Yeah.
I tell you, people want to take it to the grave with them.
Yeah, they do.
They really do.
They really do.
And it don't serve. Ain't nothing. What was it? Solomon said, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, because only the grave awaits. So you just give it the best you got, We're talking about this void. I want to share this with you all. There's about $5 trillion in business wealth that's going to transfer over the next 10 years in business wealth alone. Black people represent about 500 billion of that. And young people keep trying to start businesses, but they need to buy businesses. So what historically happens with black businesses is that we start something and it becomes a lifestyle business, takes care of us, and then we're gone, it goes away.
Yep.
And so you're right about that void, that we have to be, again, deliberate and intentional and identify young people that we can, replace ourselves with. I got a few young people around here I'm trying to lay the foundation for. But the reality is that void is great. If we don't actively and deliberately, start acquiring these black businesses, these legacy businesses, they will simply go away, and we will see $500 billion of black business wealth go away over the next 10 years.
Because all we keep doing is starting over, not just in business, but in real estate. We just keep starting over. And that's why we
But I need to identify, this is important. Some of this is the architecture, how we're structured. It is designed for this purpose. And we don't have an adequate defense. We have not built a structure that limits the impact of the impediments that we face as black people. I always give this challenge. If I asked you how many months, this is one of those certified financial planner things, how many months of emergency savings should you have? What number comes to mind? What number do you hear all the time?
Okay, let me think. I hear you start with 6, but then you should have 12.
Right. So they say 6 months, 3 to 6 months. And if you follow that advice and you're black, the reality is black unemployment tends to run 9 to 12 months. And depending on your career, it might be 18 months, depending on what you do. So if you're following this advice, which again was founded upon white people and their circumstance in America, then you will, if you actually lose your job, that plan is going to fail you.
We have to play by a different set of rules.
All the time.
But those rules have, till now, right? I'm writing those rules. But the reality is those rules have never been studied, outlined, analyzed, or delivered to our community. And so we have continuously, and we continue, it's humbling to me how much we follow in a path that doesn't work. You talk about 40 years of the information. I'm not saying his information wasn't good. The philosophy was there. But now we have access to real data. We have to change the way we do things.
Hold that thought.
Go ahead.
Hold that thought.
We
because
promised to go to the phone lines. And I know they're
Hey,
waiting.
Miss Karen, thank you for calling.
And thank you for waiting.
Oh, no problem. Always with a great conversation. Number one, if his voice don't get your attention, nothing else will.
All right now.
So let me just say this. This is a conversation that needs to be had because we are following a bunch of people who we taught how to be civil. And I just want us to think. America is a business. America went into other countries, bombed them, tore them up, did what they had to do to bring all the resources here. So we are corporations within a corporation. And what has happened is, just like he said, we followed the very people that we taught how to be civil. We followed their way. I just want you to listen to me very well. How can you loan me money to go to a school for you to teach me to work your corporation, but you won't loan me money for my own idea that's in my head?
Or my own school.
I'll give you a good example. Uber and Lyft will give you a car with terrible credit to run their business. But you can't go get a car on your own. I don't blame the system, baby. I blame us. Because we are naturally intelligent. Only thing we got to do is walk that civil walk and be men and women of integrity. My daddy told me when I opened my first business at age 10, 11, however old I was, I said, man, Daddy, I didn't make no money. He said, well, what did you do? I gave Priscilla free lemonade. I gave that. He said, let me tell you something right now. When you go in business, majority of the people that's going to come support you will be family and friends. So if you give everybody something free away, you won't never make no money. So when somebody asks you something for free, ask them, can you get your mortgage for free? Can you get your lights for free? Can you get your gas for free? You can have a deferred payment, but you ain't getting it for free. Where all the scholarships come from? Because they want to train you how to run their corporation called America. And our problem is we've never understood how business works. We don't understand how the dollar bill works, and we won't share information. But guess what, darling? We're living in a great time where it's over for ignorance. And like you said, Atiba, we're all leaving. All my people gone. My grandma, my aunties, everybody. And I cried yesterday. You know why I cried? Because I don't see those behind me picking up and taking this wisdom, this example that I've walked. I've walked an example. I'm very proud of who I am. Because you know why? I never believed in the system. I am a proud dropout. I don't knock those of you all that got those letters, but I want you to ask yourself this. How come we at the bottom of a barrel when everybody got a doctor, a PhD, a TTT, a CC, and we're at the bottom? Number one thing our communities show what we're worth. It's filthy. And
Gotta
it's
leave
time
it
that
there,
we
Miss
wake up.
Karen.
Keep speaking, young man.
Thank you so much. We have another call.
Let's go to
we wanna
Mike.
take. Hey,
Hey,
Mike.
Mike, real quick.
Oh, yeah, you got me at the tail end. But three things, and this is to everybody out here, the ones with the alphabets behind their name especially, since they feel that they got over, they made it. When you go home at night and you go into your residence in your black neighborhood, look at all the different buildings that don't have a business of 100 employees or more. That's a black business. There's only one black business that I know just right off because I tolerate. I patronize them. Now see what the father did with Vicky, his daughter, that she's in there taking over, the transitions that's being made there. And the other thing is education. It's what Karen's talking about and what everybody's talking about. And everyone knows that you need to be educated with knowledge about how to go about doing what you need to do and encourage that.
What business, Mike?
Politicians do not educate their public about how to get the best benefits of what they're supposed to get as a citizen.
Real quick, Mike.
What was the name of that business you were talking about?
Taylor Right Cleaners.
Oh,
on the
yeah.
south side of Chicago.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Thank
right,
you,
that's
good
what I'm
sir.
talking
We
about.
appreciate that. In the closing seconds, Mr. Harris, one, I want you to give out your information because I know there are some people that if they weren't aware of the brilliance they were missing before, they want to get caught up now.
Mm-hmm.
So how can they listen to you?
Well, we come on every Saturday from 11 to 12 on VON. It's actually Real Money with Gary Harris. And you can reach us if you need financial planning, if you need investing that's culturally competent. 312, I'm sorry, 888-399-2049, 888-399-2049. 2049. I don't want to leave here, though, without addressing one thing.
Sure.
Part of the system is designed to cause us to blame ourselves or one another for our circumstance. And I'm not saying that we aren't a contributing factor. Certainly the choices we make matter. However, you must understand that this is a design, it is a structure, an architecture around limiting our opportunities to do anything else. If you can't get a loan, and she was right when she said that, they'll give you a car loan under worse circumstances, but they won't give you, half that amount to start a business. They marginalize our access to capital for business, to buy homes and otherwise. So what happens is when you get forced out of every, normal circumstance or banking or otherwise, and you're forced to go to predatory lenders because that's all that's there. The whole thing is designed. But what happens is we start looking at each other like we're failing. What we're really doing is surviving. And sometimes, as Farrakhan said, the best of us are the worst of us. That argument of a talented tenth, the capable people being there to represent our masses, that needs to happen. And we're not all doing our part. But hold on. It's critical to me that our community understand that we have to stop blaming ourselves and each other, because that keeps us from coming together, unifying, and focusing on the things we need to.
I love it,
so
Gary.
Buy black.
That's
buy
what
black.
I'm talking about.
There
Yeah.
you go.
All right.
Thank you, good sir. We
Gary,
appreciate
yeah,
you.
we are
Thank you so
well
much.
over the
We
break.
gotta have
but
him on more often.
Pretty much.
All right.
Okay.
Take care, brother.
All right, guys. It's time for news, traffic, and weather. And I forgot what we're talking about next, but it's pretty good. Atiba told me we're going to be going back and forth, so you don't want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Hope your weekend was amazing, Chicago. Here are your news headlines. Our Norman reflects on passing of Farrakhan's wife. Mayor Johnson introduces Protect Renters Ordinance. Strawberry micromoon to rise over Chicago tonight. Pioneering journalist Tony Brown dies at 93. And 2 deaths found hanging from trees spark public concern. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, 1690 AM, WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
BIN News Now. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani says Democratic Socialists can get elected anywhere across the country. Mamdani appeared on ABC's This Week after 3 candidates he endorsed won their primary congressional election races.
I think we are seeing a hunger that is not just felt by New Yorkers, but frankly by Americans from coast to coast for a new kind of politics, one that puts working people at the heart of it.
Republicans have sought to use Mamdani's success and Democratic Socialist leanings to suggest the party is only growing more radical. Rescue efforts continue in Venezuela as officials fear the death toll will continue to rise from Wednesday's massive earthquakes. More than 1,400 people are confirmed dead and nearly 69,000 others remain missing. And the Wimbledon Championship will begin today at the All England Club with Serena Williams returning in singles. I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now.
Thank you, Misty. We have several major rulings from the U.S. Supreme Court that could be of interest to you. First, the High Court ruled President Trump cannot fire Dr. Lisa Cook as a governor of the Federal Reserve. President Trump had attempted to fire Cook, the first black woman to be confirmed to the board, over allegations of mortgage fraud. Her lawyers had argued Trump did not have the authority to do so. In their decision today, the High Court decided not to pause a lower court ruling that allowed Cook to continue to stay in office as the case plays out in court. In another case, the U.S. Supreme Court is ruling in favor of counting mail-in ballots postmarked by Election Day that are received after Election Day. The court issued the 5-4 decision this morning. The ruling said a Mississippi law that allows mail-in ballots to be counted if they are postmarked by and received within 5 days of Election Day is not preempted by federal Election Day statutes. The Republican National Committee had challenged the Mississippi law. And the Supreme Court has rejected President Trump's bid to overturn the verdict that found he sexually assaulted and defamed E. Jean Carroll. The ruling means the $5 million civil judgment and verdict against the president will remain in place. You may recall last Thursday, the U.S. Supreme Court cleared the way for the Trump administration to cut off temporary legal protections for thousands of Haitians and Syrians. Attorney Matthew Hanley, who specializes in federal immigration law, says the ruling may have a wider impact.
The Somalis would be in the same situation that the Haitians and the Syrians were last week. They're just in a limbo status and largely should expect TPS to end.
Experts are now saying Ethiopian immigrants may also be affected. If immigrants lose their protected status, they will have to find another legal status to stay in America, leave the country, or risk deportation. More decisions from the U.S. Supreme Court are expected to be announced by tomorrow. Those rulings will be on cases impacting transgender athlete bans, President Trump's birthright citizenship order, and his ability to fire federal officials. In other news, a dire situation continues to unfold in Venezuela after two back-to-back earthquakes shook the country last week. The death toll currently stands at more than 1,400. The magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 quakes left tens of thousands missing and displaced. Pope Leo is among those praying for the dead and injured. The Pope has also sent an initial donation of more than $100,000 for the victims and their families. And Khadija Farrakhan, the wife of Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan Sr., has died. According to Chicago's NBC News 5, Ms. Farrakhan's death was announced Saturday. She was 90 years old. Born Betsy Ross, Ms. Farrakhan reportedly converted to Islam in 1955 and is a mother of 9 children, 2 of whom are deceased. Louis Farrakhan and his late wife were married for more than 70 years. In a social media post, an R&B artist called her one of the greatest examples of dignity, faith, loyalty, and grace our generation has ever witnessed. This is BIN News this hour. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcast. I'm Andrea Coleman on the Black Information Network, home of Black News First.
Laughter reduces stress and boosts mood. Sometimes healing sounds like joy echoing through the room. Your health, our community, we're WVON.
Chicago has always been a city of harmony, and few groups embody that better than the Emotions. Formed on Chicago's West Side, the Emotions began as a gospel group before bringing their rich harmonies and soulful sound to the world. With hits like Best of My Love, Don't Ask My Neighbors, and Boogie Wonderland, they became one of the defining female vocal groups of their era. Working with fellow Chicago legends, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Emotions helped shape the sound of the 1970s, blending soul, funk, and R&B into timeless music that continues to inspire generations. From Chicago churches to stages around the world, the Emotions prove that great harmony never goes out of style. They gave Chicago its soundtrack, and the world never stopped listening.
Brought to you by AARP, a proud supporter of Black Music Month.
Lowe's knows hot deals help you get the most out of summer. Get up to 30% off select major appliances and get it delivered as soon as next day. Plus, get up to 30% off select patio furniture, grills, outdoor power equipment, and more. These end-of-season savings won't last long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Valid on eligible in-stock orders in select locations. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Have you checked out WVON's digital streaming network, Bond TV? It's everywhere on Roku, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Fire, on the WVON app, and at VON.TV. Bond TV. It's cultural content on purpose.
This report is brought to you by ComEd, powering lives. Here's a great savings idea. Did you know you've got the power to manage your energy? Yep, from usage alerts to energy saving programs and more. ComEd has all kinds of ideas to help you gain control over your energy saving costs. Find out more at ComEd.com/energy savings.
Celebrate the freedom to be. Happy Pride Month. We are WVON.
From the Xfinity Studios at WVON, it's Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on Chicago's Essential Storyteller, 1690 WVON.
Listen, watch the Rufus Williams exclusive interview with Governor J.B. Pritzker as they tackle the issues everyone is talking about, from violence and education to affordability, voting rights. President Trump and the 2026 election. If you missed it live, catch the full conversation now on the WVON YouTube channel at youtube.com/at WVON 1690 or on Vaughn TV. That's Vaughn.tv. Vaughn TV is available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, the WVON app, or at VON.tv. Now, the reason why I couldn't wait to read that is because I actually saw the interview on YouTube and it was really good. You know, Rufus gets to the point. I know he did his homework, of course, but watching him interview Governor J.B. Pritzker, you would think, I'm not supporting. It's not even about support. I think a lot of times we run from those things that we don't agree with versus paying attention to what's being said. And there's a lot of little Easter eggs in that interview, I would say. I was listening very closely and he did a really good job talking to him and coming in studio to talk to Rufus. But either or, you're listening to, I should say, WVON 1690, 63 years. You can hear us just about everywhere. There's a lot of comments that are blowing up the chat. Was there one that caught your attention or you were just like, wow, there's a lot of comments out there? Gotcha. All right. So Zaviola says, we're being hoodwinked, bamboozled, and just surviving. That's what it looks like. Amen. Now, that comment or statement alone is what we have heard. It's nothing new. We've heard it, more generations than not. And what do we do about it? Because, see, at this moment, I'm thinking about how we spoke so highly of Tony Brown's legacy and how he was on PBS for 40 years and he wrote these books. I think it was about 4 or 5 of them. And he gave us the rules and he gave us direction and he talked about financial literacy and he mirrored, or should I say married, journalism and education. But yet, did we take heed in any kind of way? And I'm not saying all of us did not. I'm saying that why haven't we moved? And Gary Harris clearly came back and said it's strategy. It is the system. It's systemic. And when he said that the way that financial, foundations are set up for Black people is so that we are squeezed, I believe it. It goes back to not just finances, but medical. It just about everything is set so that we are the product. We're the product.
I mean, here's what's funny about it. That's not just exclusive to Black people, right? Like we're looking at like the way that Lyft and Uber and many of these organizations, Amazon, Starbucks, the way that they are resistant to organized labor, that's affecting all kinds of people because we're dealing with corrupt corporations who want to pay people as little as possible, if at all.
Yeah.
And they also want to pay as little in taxes, if at all.
And they don't want the overhead. Right. That's why Uber is set up as a technology company, not transportation.
That's right. So again, we all have to be careful, Black people in particular, because everything that Karen said was spot on today. When you talk about the conditions by which you can get a car, because you would think a requirement to do Uber or Lyft is to have a car.
Right.
They're like, you have a car, don't worry about it.
Right. We got you.
We'll take it out of your check.
But I think it was at a point back in the day, it was $600 a week just to rent that car.
Yeah.
And so you had to work day and night. And that's when they throw those, they got those regulations in where you had to have so many hours between shifts. But see, now it sounds more like a transportation company.
Yeah.
Because that's how it is when you drive those semi trucks. You have to have 8 hours between shifts before you can take on the next one.
And now what are they doing? They have self-driving trucks that don't need naps, that don't need to take a break. They don't need to take a leak. They don't need to do anything but get to the destination.
Wow.
Right. So, I mean, again, there's a shift happening. And as Black people, we need to be aware. But the biggest thing that Mr. Harris talked about that I took from his statement today was just talking about the lack of unity,
Mm-hmm.
and that we are not going to get ahead until we get better at unity.
How can you get better at something you don't know how to get better at?
I mean, I don't know how you don't know, because there's so many people sounding that alarm.
They're sounding the alarm of the end result, but we have to have objectives to get there. That's the goal. We need objectives. You know, you look at how unity lacks in households, lacks in communities, lacks in schools, lacks in corporations. So how can we bring unity when we just don't know how it works?
Again, I think we do, and I think there are so many of us who have become cynical to a fault. I think that there are so many of us who view themselves as just pulling themselves up by their bootstraps.
Mm-hmm. There's no such thing.
When we went to the RNC, you know, again, I spoke to scores of Black Trump supporters, and the consistent through line through all of them was, from their perception,
they did it all.
They did it all.
Yeah, there's
And
no
I
such
can't-
thing.
And I can't figure out what's wrong with the rest of y'all.
Right.
And we have so many people with that mindset. So few of us are willing to do what Gary does, which is learn
Mm-hmm.
and then reach back.
You know, when you said learn, oh my goodness, yesterday, I thought about something and I got deep with it. It seems like we are so willing, we want to operate with hands-on learning on the job, right? We just want to get out there and do it. We don't necessarily take the time to do what it takes to get to that point. We just want to do, right? And I thought about it. We may be more of a project-based learner or project-based doers than anybody else. For instance, if I'm doing something that is relevant to something I'm interested in, I'm more likely to finish it. I'm more likely to go through it instead of around it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I am learning something or forced to learn something that has nothing to do with anything that I'm dealing with at the time, I might lose interest. Okay. I'm going to go around it. I'm going to try and figure out I may quit. You know what I mean? But if I'm, let's say barbershops, for instance, if I go to barber college and I'm interested in getting that fade tightened up real tight, I may be more apt to taking that class because I know what's at the other end of that class is me knowing how to do something that I want to do.
Well, a lot of what you're saying is the argument about the ACT test,
Mm-hmm.
the SAT test, because the questions themselves, you know, even when I'm watching Family Feud, when they ask some of the questions they ask, I'm like, who did they ask that to? You know what I mean? You can
You're
tell.
right.
You can tell that
Studies show, polls show,
right.
approval ratings.
Who did y'all talk to?
And you know what? Speaking of talk to, we better take this break real quick and come back.
Oh, we already there. Okay.
I know, guys. We'll be right back on the afternoon show, WVON. We'll be right back after the traffic and weather. That's right. That's the time it is.
More from Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Your eyes work hard every day. Protect them by wearing sunglasses that block 100% of UVA and UVB rays, even on cloudy days. Long-term sun exposure can increase your risk of cataracts and other eye conditions. This healthy reminder is sponsored in part by Dr. Ansel T. Johnson and Vision Salon Eye Care Associates.
It's Rufus Williams. The thrill of summer is finally here, which also means it'll be over before we know it. This fall, the Rufus Williams Travel Club is heading to Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Join me as we experience the beauty, the brilliance, and the culture of one of America's most captivating cities. We'll enjoy the charm of the Lowcountry, breathtaking scenery, incredible cuisine, and the rich African-American history of Charleston. There will also be a few special surprises designed just for our group. So whether you're traveling alone, with family, or with friends, you'll be welcomed into an unforgettable experience filled with great people and great memories. Space is limited, and the best rates are right now. Simply go to WVON.com, click on the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner, and reserve your space. Advantage International is the official travel partner of the Rufus Williams Travel Club. Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Travel with people, travel with purpose, travel with us.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa,
Aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Ah. Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Hey Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Thousands of homeowners have trusted Blindster.com for their blinds that are easy to order, affordable, and guaranteed to fit. You measure at home, install yourself, and enjoy blinds made exactly for your windows. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Good Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here is your traffic update. Dan Ryan, downtown to 95th, slow go, 24 minutes. I-57, Ryan I-80, stop and go traffic, 17 minutes. Bishop Ford, Ryan I-80, 94, stop and go traffic, 25 minutes. Stevenson, DuSable, Lakeshore Drive. To the tri-state, please be cautious. There is an accident causing the left lane to be blocked. Stevenson at Pulaski Road, 38 minutes. Eisenhower, Wolfville Post Office, slow go, 28 minutes. Kennedy, downtown to O'Hare, stop and go traffic, 41 minutes. And Eden's, Munchos Lake Cooks, smooth sailing, 15 minutes. Your weather for today, Chicago. Summer shy has arrived. Hot, humid, and heat index of 100 to 105. High of 94 and a low of 76. Tomorrow, humid, heat index of 100 to 105. High of 94 and a low of 77. In our city, it's currently 93 degrees and partly cloudy. I'm Logan Page, and that's your traffic and weather update on WVON 1690 AM.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hey, it's Emotions Day. I love the emotions, guys. You're listening to the afternoon show on WVON 1690. You can hit those phone lines. You know the number. You don't have to wait for us to tell you to call 773-591-1690. We just had a conversation about, let me just acknowledge this heat advisory. Guys, if you're out there and you have your windows down, just be mindful. If you feel like you need to turn the air on, don't hesitate. Turn your air on. And if you're in your homes, make sure that you have circulation. I mean, there's so many things that I can call Miss Mila Marshall up to say. Make sure everybody is staying healthy and staying safe in this heat advisory. 100-degree weather, I have not heard that in years. But speaking of high temperatures, church and state, huh? What's going on? We got a new administration.
Let's get Ron and Pianki in.
Okay, all right.
Before we go, because they've been holding, especially Pianki.
Yes.
Hey, Pianki, what's up?
Pianki.
Buddy? Thanks for calling. You're on WVON.
You know, I listened to your last guest. He had some pertinent things, but I don't agree with all.
Okay.
I get disturbed when I hear people say that blacks are not doing things, and it basically equates to things that they don't know that they're doing. And I know of blacks that's doing aerial refueling of jets that fly from the East Coast or the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And most people have not heard of such a thing. And another point, too, you have to have people that are experienced in what it is that you want to do, especially if it's out of the box. Right now in this country, there's a huge market for rare earth materials that can be extracted from Wyoming and even in portions of California. But you have to have people that understand that business, that's worked at that business, and therefore they will be able to succeed at it. If not, then they'll fail. And every person in this history of the United States, whether it's the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, or the Westinghouse, went through that virgin portion of the business. Some failed and some will succeed. And one other thing, if I was coming around nowadays, Latifah, what I would get involved in is removing the space junk that's circumventing the Earth in a low geostation altitude. It's got to be removed. If not, its orbit is going to deteriorate. Those things going to come plummeting back to the ground. It might hit somebody on the head. So there's a lot more to these things than just what people talk about.
Yeah, we don't want to oversimplify it. I agree with you that it's definitely not a binary kind of conversation. There is a lot of context to it. But the things that I agree with what he said were in the macro. We can talk about the details, but in the macro, yeah, I think Black people would stand far better if we were intentional about
Black people can do
our
anything.
unity.
Latifah, a person with black skin can do anything that anyone else can. A person with black skin have not experienced anything that someone of another skin color in this country or world have experienced.
That's not true.
We're looking at human beings.
That's not true.
Can't name one.
That's not
Name
true.
me one.
You're saying that Black people have not experienced anything that anybody else has not experienced
in this country or in the world.
That's not true. I mean, are you saying that?
Anyone.
Are you trying to say that everything that we've experienced, everybody else has experienced?
Yes, they have. Even chattel slavery.
Okay. No.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's
I know it's hard to realize, but it's true.
it's not true.
You do the research on it.
It's not true.
The research has been done.
What's easy is for someone to say it's not until they start doing the research.
Okay.
So everybody's being racially profiled. Everybody's being stopped and frisked. Everybody's being arrested unlawfully. Everyone's being denied loans. Everyone's being redlined. Everybody's being redistricted. All of this, everybody
is done.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes, all those things are happening to either people in this country or people in other parts of the world. Yes,
well, I tell you what, misery loves company, so I'm happy that everybody's suffering like we are.
Thank you, Bianchi. We appreciate your perspective.
All right.
Let's squeeze them in before the break. Ron. Thanks for calling.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, good afternoon. You know what, y'all, something I find very interesting. During the 70s, particularly Chicago, was the Black mecca of business in this country. Cadillac deals, you name. When Harold Washington was running, that's where he got his money from. We had banks, business, insurance companies. So the formula is there. So I like to maybe have that discussion because it was business, Black successful business. Now, y'all mentioned unity, and we hear that word quite a bit. See, we have to have unity among our institutions. Nation of Islam, PUSH, NAACP, Urban League. Certainly, when we talk about unity among individuals and community, but it is the institutions that will really allow us to prevail and bring in financial institutions, bringing in that gentleman. But it has to be unity among institutions. Black institutions have to be strong in housing, in education. So they have to kind of be a little more unified. I don't see that
I agree with that.
much.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. Thank you so much, Ron.
Well.
It's not just among the regular citizenry. This is actually a top all the way down problem that we have to do, be it the nonprofits, be it, again, all of the NAACPs of the world, you name it. To borrow LaDonna's word, there has to be some kind of unified plan, right? But you took us to the break, brother. It is 4:30. And
already.
when we come back, what we are going to talk about is Texas. They're in the news again because they want to teach the Bible in public schools. And
how dare they?
I have a thought or two about that. So don't go anywhere.
Get your verses ready.
Get your verses ready, because it's about to be a knockdown drag out. I don't know if it's going to be with me and LaDonna. I don't know, but I'm going to tell you this. I got some thoughts on it. We'll be right back.
Hope you're having a marvelous Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here's what's happening in your local and national news. Veteran journalist Art Norman joined WVON's Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh to discuss the passing of Khadija Farrakhan, the wife of Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan. Norman reflected on her life, legacy, and her positive impact on his own life, crediting her influence as part of the reason he went on to win an Emmy, and saying she helped him pave the way for his career.
Khadija Farrakhan was a very kind woman. She helped me win an Emmy Award at NBC because of I was sitting behind her at the Civic Opera House when they had the performance of the Three Mode Tenors.
Oh, you talking my language now.
He perked up.
The discussion also highlighted her broader impact on the Nation of Islam and the community, along with tributes and condolences following her death. In other news, Mayor Brandon Johnson is unveiling a new ordinance that increases protections for Chicago's renters. The proposed measure calls for making landlords obligated to provide valid reasons for not renewing a lease. It would also make landlords help pay for a tenant's move if they are forced out due to no fault of their own. Johnson is also proposing to charge landlords a rental registry fee based on property size. In other news, the June full moon, known as the Strawberry Moon, will rise over the Chicago area tonight and officially reach full illumination just before 7 p.m. CT. This year's full moon is also a micromoon, meaning it will appear slightly smaller and dimmer than usual, because it's near the farthest point in its orbit from Earth. The best viewing will be just after sunset with a clear view of the eastern horizon. The moon gets its name from the June strawberry harvest, not from its color. In other news, veteran broadcaster and educator Tony Brown, longtime host of Tony Brown's Journal on PBS, has died at the age of 93. Brown was a trailblazer in Black journalism, using his nationally syndicated public affairs program to spotlight issues affecting African Americans for nearly 4 decades. He is also remembered as an educator, civil rights advocate, and the founding dean of Howard University School of Communications, leaving a lasting impact on journalism and public broadcasting. And a 16-year-old girl in Charlotte, North Carolina, and a 27-year-old woman in Miami, Florida, were both found hanging from trees in separate incidents months apart. Authorities in both cases investigated and ruled the deaths as suicides, stating there was no evidence of foul play. The Charlotte case involved a teen who had recently immigrated from the Democratic Republic of the Congo and had been missing for over a week before she was found on church property. The Miami case also led to public outcry, but medical examiners maintained the suicide determination despite ongoing community doubts and calls for further investigation. I'm Logan Page, and that's what's happening in your news now on WVON 1690 AM.
Smart conversations with smart people makes us smarter. And that's exactly what you get on Bound and Woven with Rufus Williams. This isn't surface level talk. This is where authors become experts, where books become blueprints, and where ideas are challenged, not just discussed. From Colin Woodard on Nations Apart, to Gloria J. Brown Marshall breaking down the history of protests in America, to Gary Tyler sharing a story of resilience and redemption and stitching freedom. These are not interviews. These are conversations that matter, because every book has a story and every story has a deeper meaning. Bound and Woven with Rufus Williams on Bond TV. You can catch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV+, the WVON app, and VON.TV.
And the match is about to begin. Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight.
What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field.
It's a dog that they could do with extra players.
She's going for the ball.
Our front paws, hands or feet.
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The magic isn't over yet. Target's clearance event is happening now with savings of up to 50%. It's the perfect time to get set for the year with great deals on clothing and shoes for the whole family, beauty faves for every style, toys that keep the fun going, and so much more. Don't miss out because these deals go fast. Score incredible savings and keep the magic going during the clearance event, now in stores, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
Tune in every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. for Speak On It with Dr. Kofi Malik. You've seen him on cable TV. Now hear his spirited conversation on the Talk of Chicago. The question at hand is raising voices of the Negro. That plain and simple. Tune in every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. for Speak On It with Dr. Kofi Malik on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Thousands of homeowners have trusted Blindster.com for their blinds that are easy to order, affordable, and guaranteed to fit. You measure at home, install yourself, and enjoy blinds made exactly for your windows. Blindster.com.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, guys. Listen here. It is summertime shy. I love how Logan Page said that so eloquently. Maybe you want to get out there in the sun, especially the Millennium Park Summer, or should I say the Millennium Park Summer Music Series. It's returning to the J. Pritzker Pavilion every Monday and Thursday night through August 6th. And Metra is the easy way to get there. Forget circling for parking or sitting in downtown traffic. Just hop aboard Metra and enjoy the ride. Tickets are easy to purchase on the Ventra app. Fares are affordable. And remember, those kids under 11 are riding free. This summer, let Metra move you to the music, because the only thing that should be packed is lawn at the Millennium Park, not the expressway. Take Metra. Drive less. Do more.
All right, we are back on the afternoon show, and no more delay. I want to get into this conversation, and I'm going to start it with a very simple question. There's no wrong answer. I would love to hear from each one of you, either in the chat or by phone. And it's a simple question. Is America a Christian nation?
Well, first you got to define what a Christian is.
We can get to that.
All right.
But that's my first question. Is America a Christian nation? Now, what is driving this question? This is reporting according to PBS. The Texas State Board of Education approved an overhaul of public school curricula that mandates Bible passages for millions of students. While the decision has sparked major debate over church and state separation, these particular reading mandates are officially scheduled to roll out beginning in the 2030 through 31 school year. So this is a lot of time to get adjusted, acclimated, disputed, whatever it is you want to do. The new requirements and controversies can be broken down as follows. 1, required reading lists. This is at the elementary level. Picture books for young grades will include stories like David and Goliath.
Hold on. Are they going to be black or white?
I'll let you answer that.
Because if they come with
I'll let you
white
answer
Jesus, okay, please continue.
So stories like David and Goliath, Daniel and the Lion's Den, and passages about Adam and Eve. 4th graders will encounter passages about Jesus in the New Testament. Again, this is all according to PBS.
He better be black with woolly hair.
In middle school, 7th graders will be expected to read passages about Jesus, including his famous Sermon on the Mount and the Shepherd's Psalm. And at the high school level, specific Bible passages are designated to serve as supportive contextual materials for classic literature by authors like Charles Dickens and Jane Austen. This also affects social studies. They have really done a complete overhaul. We've seen in Louisiana that they have mandated the 10 Commandments be in public spaces, including courthouses. Um, and so I just wonder. I thought there was always something known in this country as the separation of church and state. And this is interesting. If you ask that in Chat GPT or AI, I'll just say that. It says legally the United States is not a Christian nation. The US Constitution is a secular document that establishes no official religion and explicitly bans religious tests for holding public office. While culturally, a majority of Americans identify as Christian, the nation remains a pluralistic republic. The legal and constitutional basis, and I'm almost done. No official religion. The First Amendment strictly forbids the government from establishing a state religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. No religious tests. Article 6 of the Constitution dictates that no religious test shall ever be required as qualification to hold public office. And then in the Treaty of Tripoli, signed by President John Adams in 1797, this document explicitly stated that the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion. That's what I grew up understanding. And we have seen over the past 40 years this further degradation, watering down, whitewashing of the understanding of the Constitution. I can pull a clip right now of an elected official saying there is no such thing as a separation of church and state, and we're tired of being bullied about it. So when I see Bible passages being required reading in public schools, you can do that in your Catholic school all you want. You can do that
or your Christian school,
right?
Private school.
Yeah. This is about public school. And so my initial thought is you're either going to include every religion or no religion. There is nothing there. Just because the majority of people that bother to identify with anything identify as Christian, we do not simply get a majority rule. And we could go into all types of reasons as to why Bible verses in particular are, in my opinion, can be particularly harmful. Now, let me just say this, and then I want to hear from you guys. People talk about how difficult times are, and these kids need something. And I think that's a fair assessment.
They
Times
need
are
an ass whipping. Okay. Bring that back.
There's definitely an argument to be made about that. But my question to you guys, two questions. Again, are we a Christian nation? And what do you think of mandatory Bible passages in public school? Because a lot of people bemoan the fact that we don't pray in school anymore. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people say that. So,
and people have been fired. They've lost their jobs for saying the word Jesus or any reference to any type of religion. Those things have happened. But here's the painful contradiction. In America, you have witnessed where lynchings have taken place and people are holding the Bible. They are quoting scripture from the Bible. So what are we really trying to do? What is the goal here? Because it's one thing to have these mandates, but what is the goal? Like, I want to know why government woke up one morning and said, you know what, we're going to mandate the Bible and the 10 Commandments and prayer. What is the goal? Because if you come to my door like the Jehovah's Witnesses did and hand me a pamphlet with a white Jesus on the front of it, I feel like you're trying to influence to my children, not me, because I know better, that Jesus is only for the white people. And I don't think that's right. It clearly doesn't say that in the Bible, but yet he has gotten lighter and whiter every publication. And that's misconception of who Jesus really was.
Let me dovetail on one of your points, because we're not wholly consistent in this. As I'm talking, the main thing I'm thinking about is when you go to court and you get sworn in, what do you swear your hand on?
On a Bible.
On a Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's hard for me to say.
Well, Trump didn't touch it when he got sworn in. He didn't.
And this is like decades before Trump.
But see, I'm just thinking, like, okay, how is he part of an administration where they're trying to mandate things and he wouldn't even touch the Bible?
Right.
Come on, man. What are we doing?
So my bigger point is,
maybe he didn't like the King James version.
Why is the Bible required at all to compel someone to tell the truth? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
It's symbolic.
So help you God,
Yeah.
and you do it on a Bible.
It depends on which God you're talking about.
Absolutely. So let's do this. We see you holding Tommy. We're going to take this break. I want to hear from you guys. Are we a Christian nation? Do you think that was the founder's intent?
Where did I hear that from? Are we a Christian nation? I heard this somewhere.
It's talked about a lot.
Yeah, no, I heard this recently. Was it in a play, a movie, or something? The way you're saying it, it's really creepy. It feels like
think
deja
about
vu.
it during the break.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come to you. All right, guys. 773-591-1690. Let's have a great conversation about this.
More from Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Chicago has always been a city of harmony, and few groups embody that better than the Emotions. Formed on Chicago's west side, the Emotions began as a gospel group before bringing their rich harmonies and soulful sound to the world. With hits like Best of My Love, Don't Ask My Neighbors, and Boogie Wonderland, they became one of the defining female vocal groups of their era. Working with fellow Chicago legends, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Emotions helped shape the sound of the 1970s, blending soul, funk, and R&B into timeless music that continues to inspire generations. From Chicago churches to stages around the world, the Emotions prove that great harmony never goes out of style. They gave Chicago its soundtrack, and the world never stopped listening.
Brought to you by AARP, a proud supporter of Black Music Month.
Chicago is running out of time. The bills are mounting. The pension crisis is not going away. Federal dollars are drying up, and the question is no longer if hard decisions are coming, it's who will pay the price. This Tuesday on the Rufus Williams Show, Jim Reynolds of Loop Capital and Karen Freeman Wilson of the Chicago Urban League join me to unveil the findings of the options for Chicago's Financial Future Task Force. What must change? What's politically possible? And what happens if Chicago refuses to act? Don't miss this conversation before someone else decides your future for you. Tuesday, June 30th, 7 to 9 a.m. on WVON, 1690 AM. Be there.
Catch Reverend Al Sharpton online at WVON.com or on the WVON app. Just click the Al Sharpton banner. Tune in every day at 12 noon for your daily dose. And if you miss it, catch the overnight replay from midnight to 3 a.m. We're keeping it real with Al Sharpton on WVON 1690.
Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.
Lowe's knows hot deals help you get the most out of summer. Get up to 30% off select major appliances and get it delivered as soon as next day. Plus, get up to 30% off select patio furniture, grills, outdoor power equipment, and more. These end-of-season savings won't last long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Valid on eligible in-stock orders in select locations. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Have you checked out WVON's digital streaming network, Vaughn TV? It's everywhere on Roku, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Fire, on the WVON app, and at VON.TV. Vaughn TV. It's cultural content on purpose.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Thousands of homeowners have trusted Blindster.com for their blinds that are easy to order, affordable, and guaranteed to fit. You measure at home, install yourself, and enjoy blinds made exactly for your windows. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Good Monday afternoon, Chicago. Sorry, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here is your traffic update. Dan Ryan, downtown to 95th. Stop and go traffic, 22 minutes. I-57, Ryan Diety, no delays. 15 minutes of stop and go traffic. Bishop Ford, Ryan Diety, 94, stop and go traffic, 25 minutes. Stevenson, DuSable, Lakeshore Drive to the Tri-State. Please be cautious. There is a disabled vehicle causing the left lane to be blocked. Stevenson at Central Avenue, 29 minutes. Eisenhower, Wolfton Post Office, slow go, 28 minutes. Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, stop and go traffic, 38 minutes. And Aiden's, Montrose Lee Cook, 1 minute delay, 17 minutes. Weather for today, Chicago, hot, humid, heat index of 100 to 105, high of 94 and a low of 76. Tomorrow, humid, heat index again of 100 to 105, high 94 and a low of 77. In our city, it's currently 93 degrees and partly cloudy. I'm Logan Page, and that's your traffic and weather update on WVON 1690 AM.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Take another point of view. You take the things you learn, all that you know are real, and what you feel is your first concern. Sacrifice and make it right. Rejoice in the things you know.
And we're back. WVON, 63 years and counting, guys. Those phone lines are open. 773-591-1690, the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh. So the question was posed right before the break, and that is there, what was it? Something about, are we a Christian nation? I was going to take it back to the whole premise of it. Are we a Christian nation? And you were right, Atiba. During the break, I thought about, where did I hear that from? Richard Gallion does a play called The Fall from Royalty. There's a line in that play where the two kings come together, and he says, and it's right before the transatlantic slave trade, and he says, you're a Christian nation, I'm a Christian nation, we're a Christian nation. And that's why they came together to sign that transatlantic slave trade. But are we a Christian nation? For real, though? That's the question.
Yeah. Would you support the 10 Commandments in public schools?
Mm-hmm.
And I would, and if you would, either way.
I mean, I would.
I would love to know why. Well, let's start with you.
Well, because there's no harm in those 10 Commandments. Those 10 Commandments are, first of all, they keep you out of trouble. Okay. It's a good premise, a good start for someone who may not have known what the 10 Commandments were. And it can, a lot of times when we learn things in school, they stick. Okay. So if this is not being taught at home, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not covet. Look, I wish I knew them all by heart. But just seeing, I needed to have it, right? But just seeing that on a regular basis can probably give you some type of foundation of how you should live your life and not should I say not commit a crime because it's all there. It's all there. What do you think? You don't think it should be in the schools?
I don't think it should be in public schools. I think there's a distinction to be drawn there.
Public school is free, but go ahead, I'm listening.
Public school is public.
It's public.
Right. So again,
all schools are public. As long as if you got the money, you can go
I am
there.
not here to debate the worth of the 10 Commandments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here to poo-poo on the 10 Commandments. What I am saying is, if you have a school that is full of Christians, Muslims, agnostics, atheists, because that's what you get in public schools. You get people from all types of backgrounds. Then who is to say that the Christian 10 Commandments should be the metric and the litmus test for all of the school age kids? I'm not even talking about the worth of it. I am saying when you are in a public school, everybody wants to pray. Everybody wants prayer in public schools until it's time for the Muslim kid to pray.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like
So now, if I go back to, I had to bring up the 10 Commandments because yes, it does say you shall have no other gods before me. That is very specific. You shall not make yourself an idol. Well, that can help a lot of people, in my opinion. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Okay. My mother gets on me about that all the time when I say, oh my, you know what? Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. It's a day off. It's no harm in that, right?
Well, but we don't honor it.
Well, that's true because I was working yesterday.
We haven't honored it in centuries.
Well, maybe if it was up in the public school, I would have honored it. Honor your mother and your father, or honor that. Well, it says honor your father and your mother. I mean, come on. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. That would save some divorce rates, right? You shall not steal. Okay, that's illegal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. That's lying. Absolutely, that should be there. And you should not covet.
And once again, you're debating the merit, the worth of the commandments. I'm not saying that. What I haven't heard you make the case for yet is why a kid who's an atheist should be subject to that in public school.
What subject to it? How? It's not. Oh, because of the what is required. I mean,
right.
Math is required.
It's not. The Bible is a belief. Math is a subject. Math is a discipline.
The Bible is a belief, but it's also a book.
It's still a belief,
and it's a discipline.
And it is not akin to math or science.
I mean, some people have degrees and master's degrees and PhDs in African American studies, and they're not even Black.
I don't understand how that's relevant.
Well, because the art of the discipline is out there. The Bible is available,
and there are plenty of great biblical schools that you can go to, and you can get a doctorate in biblical studies.
I get that.
I don't have a problem with that. I'm talking about public schools that have people of different, diverse faiths. How does one faith get propelled over all the others?
Okay. So if I don't agree with the Bible, and if I can't absolutely have my son or daughter hold it because their fingers might burn, then I may have to transfer them and put them into a different school. Now, I know that is the simple way of dealing with this, and why have to deal with it at all. But at the same time, we pledge allegiance every single day, and some people don't believe in that either.
One of those great contradictions. I'm with you.
Okay.
We have contradictions.
Mm-hmm.
So those things do exist. And I think they need to be addressed as well.
So the dollar shouldn't say "In God We Trust." If I'm an
I
need to use a debit card.
I think there is a case for that. I think there's a case for not putting that on the money. Yes.
Okay.
So let's do this. Tommy, you're up first. Joe Citizen, you're second. Mama D, you're third. We're gonna hit this break on time. Straight to the calls when we come back.
New Monday means New Week Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. Illinois farm bankruptcies rise for third straight year. Chicago Cook County minimum wage set to rise again in 2026. Brookfield Zoo offers family fun for 4th of July. Pope Leo prays for Venezuela. And BET 2026 awards highlight major wins and honors. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, 1690 AM WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
BIN News Now.
New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani says Democratic Socialists can get elected anywhere across the country. Mamdani appeared on ABC's This Week after 3 candidates he endorsed won their primary congressional election races.
I think we are seeing a hunger that is not just felt by New Yorkers, but frankly by Americans from coast to coast for a new kind of politics, one that puts working people at the heart of it.
Republicans have sought to use Mamdani's success and Democratic Socialist leanings to suggest the party is only growing more radical. Rescue efforts continue in Venezuela as officials fear the death toll will continue to rise from Wednesday's massive earthquakes. More than 1,400 people are confirmed dead and nearly 69,000 others remain missing. And the Wimbledon Championship will begin today at the All England Club with Serena Williams returning in singles. I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now.
Thank you, Misty. We have several major rulings from the U.S. Supreme Court that could be of interest to you. First, the High Court ruled President Trump cannot fire Dr. Lisa Cook as a governor of the Federal Reserve. President Trump had attempted to fire Cook, the first black woman to be confirmed to the board, over allegations of mortgage fraud. Her lawyers had argued Trump did not have the authority to do so. In their decision today, the High Court decided not to pause a lower court ruling that allowed Cook to continue to stay in office as the case plays out in court. In another case, the U.S. Supreme Court is ruling in favor of counting mail-in ballots postmarked by Election Day that are received after Election Day. The court issued the 5-4 decision this morning. The ruling said a Mississippi law that allows mail-in ballots to be counted if they are postmarked by and received within 5 days of Election Day is not preempted by federal Election Day statutes. The Republican National Committee had challenged the Mississippi law. And the Supreme Court has rejected President Trump's bid to overturn the verdict that found he sexually assaulted and defamed E. Jean Carroll. The ruling means the $5 million civil judgment and verdict against the president will remain in place. You may recall last Thursday, the U.S. Supreme Court cleared the way for the Trump administration to cut off temporary legal protections for thousands of Haitians and Syrians. Attorney Matthew Hanley, who specializes in federal immigration law, says the ruling may have a wider impact.
The Somalis would be in the same situation that the Haitians and the Syrians were last week. They're just in a limbo status and largely should expect TPS to end.
Experts are now saying Ethiopian immigrants may also be affected. If immigrants lose their protected status, they will have to find another legal status to stay in America, leave the country, or risk deportation. More decisions from the U.S. Supreme Court are expected to be announced by tomorrow. Those rulings will be on cases impacting transgender athlete bans, President Trump's birthright citizenship order, and his ability to fire federal officials. In other news, a dire situation continues to unfold in Venezuela after 2 back-to-back earthquakes shook the country last week. The death toll currently stands at more than 1,400. The magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 quakes left tens of thousands missing and displaced. Pope Leo is among those praying for the dead and injured. The Pope has also sent an initial donation of more than $100,000 for the victims and their families. And Khadija Farrakhan, the wife of Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan Sr., has died. According to Chicago's NBC News 5, Ms. Farrakhan's death was announced Saturday. She was 90 years old. Born Betsy Ross, Ms. Farrakhan reportedly converted to Islam in 1955 and is a mother of 9 children, 2 of whom are deceased. Louis Farrakhan and his late wife were married for more than 70 years. In a social media post, an R&B artist called her one of the greatest examples of dignity, faith, loyalty, and grace our generation has ever witnessed. This is BIN News this hour. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcast. I'm Andrea Coleman on the Black Information Network, home of Black News First.
Stretching improves flexibility, posture, and circulation. Your body wasn't built to stay stiff all day.
Your health, our community, we're WVON.
Chicago has always been a city of harmony. And few groups embodied that better than the Emotions. Formed on Chicago's West Side, the Emotions began as a gospel group before bringing their rich harmonies and soulful sound to the world. With hits like Best of My Love, Don't Ask My Neighbors, and Boogie Wonderland, they became one of the defining female vocal groups of their era. Working with fellow Chicago legends, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Emotions helped shape the sound of the 1970s, blending soul, funk, and R&B into timeless music that continues to inspire generations. From Chicago churches to stages around the world, the Emotions prove that great harmony never goes out of style. They gave Chicago its soundtrack, and the world never stopped listening.
Brought to you by AARP, a proud supporter of Black Music Month.
This June on Vaughn TV, the culture takes center stage. First, dive into the stories behind today's biggest names in music with a new original series, now trending hip-hop. From the lyrical mastery of Kendrick Lamar, the fearless creativity of Doechii, to the genre-bending brilliance of Doja Cat and Tyler, the Creator. Discover how these artists are shaping music, culture, and the future of hip-hop.
Chart topping, genre bending, culture defining. These are the new voices. The digital poets of a generation raised on hustle, hashtags, and heartbreak. They're not waiting for a seat at the table. They're building their own. This is more than music. This is a movement. This is hip-hop.
And for music lovers who appreciate where it all began, don't miss Echoes Across the Tracks, the history of the blues. Narrated by Morgan Freeman, this powerful documentary traces the roots of the blues from the Mississippi Delta to its worldwide impact, exploring the music that helped generations endure, inspire, and overcome.
You ever go into any club and they're playing that kind of music, it's not rock and roll, it's blues. It's blues rock or blues whatever, it's got that backbeat on it.
From the roots of the blues to the future of hip-hop, it's all happening this June on Vaughn TV. Stream anytime on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and at Vaughn TV.
Hey, child. Hey, Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON.
This report is sponsored by RockAuto.com. A failed strut can turn any drive into a rough ride. When it's time for repairs, Rock Auto makes finding the right part easy. Shop name brands at lower prices and have parts shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto.
June is Pride Month. It's a celebration for people who live out loud. We are WVON.
From the Xfinity Studios at WVON, it's Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on Chicago's Essential Storyteller, 1690 WVON.
All right, we're back on the afternoon show. Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh. About 5:09, we're discussing, asking the simple question: is America a Christian nation? And how do you feel about Bible verses being taught in public schools? So,
Well,
Tom,
before you go to the, I know we promised Tommy. I love Tommy, but there was a big, huge shift in the 1960s rather. Prior to that, teachers actually led prayer. They did Bible readings.
Mhm.
They did Christmas pageants with religious themes.
Yep.
And Christian hymns. And then in the 60s, the courts ruled that public schools may not lead students in prayer. Schools may not require Bible readings as a religious exercise, and government cannot endorse one religion over another, to your point.
in public schools.
Yeah.
And again, I went to a Catholic school. I went to Our Lady of Sorrows for 2 years on the West Side. It's just a church now, but we did I thought about being an altar boy, right? But that was the place for that. We had all kinds of religious ceremonies while I was a student there, but that was a Catholic school.
And I put my son into a private Christian school at a time when he did not believe in God. And rather than saying, oh, you're going to believe today, because that doesn't work. I felt it was probably more necessary to put him into a private Christian school so that he can learn more about it from a third party. And it did turn his life around, or his beliefs around.
Okay.
And he does definitely prays now.
That's interesting. All right, Tommy, you are up, my friend. No more delay. Your thoughts.
Hi, Tommy.
Hey, first of all, hello to both of you, and especially the listening audience. I received a phone call from one of my AARP brothers, and they said, hey, Tommy, man, tune in to WVON because LaDonna and Atiba is trying out for Saturday Night Live or America Got Jokes, because you absolutely have to be kidding to ask the question of this murdering, lying, cheating, stealing, and criminal nation. Are they Christians? How in the hell can you apply anything of such nature to your conversation on today? It just doesn't apply. No individual should have to go to anything public and be made to recite or say anything. Those are all personal beliefs. Now, you're supposed to be there for education. And you would have thought that this, not your conversation, because I love whatever you guys choose, it is. But at the end of the day, you both got my vote, man, because y'all got to be two of the funniest people I know. And Atiba, you or Altar Boy, oh, hell no. Goodbye.
But, again, during the eras of slavery and Jim Crow laws, some white ministers and congregations used selected biblical passages to defend slavery and racial segregation.
Yeah, you can make the Bible defend almost anything,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
Almost anything.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Joe Citizen, no more delay. You're on WVON.
No problem, Brother Atiba and Sister LaDonna. Brother Atiba, for once, I'm going to have to push back on you a little bit.
Please.
All due respect. Yeah, all due respect, there never was a separation of church and state, by the way you describe it. It was only the fact that the federal government was not allowed to impose its will. In fact, all the Constitution really is about what the federal government can do. It's always in a fight between Federalists and Anti-Federalists. Many of the so-called founding fathers at the time of so-called Enlightenment were considered deists. They believed in the idea of a God who was out there but didn't really necessarily interfere.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of hypocritical in the way they had their actions. In fact, the question to ask is, nobody's given a definition of what we shall define as a religion. Now, when the Pope at the time, that was, I call him Nickelodeon Nick, he's the one that gave the permission at that time to grant slavery, with the transatlantic. But you got to understand, up until Benjamin Lay as a Quaker, even Wilberforce was a slightly hypocritical himself, slavery has been the de rigueur for the last 5,000 years. It's only recently, in the last 200-300 years, we've had the idea of somebody having their own agency in that way, including chattel. So also we talk about schools. Public schools, got to understand, the original schools were always religiously based and church-oriented, especially the Catholic ones, which preserved a lot of the history in Roman times. So the idea of public schools meant that everything should be able to be taught, at least comparatively. That question about the idea of America a Christian country, well, by de facto it is, even though it might not be by law. Ironically, while the Ten Commandments is basically originally an Old Testament Jewish canon, it was when it's combined with Jesus' compassion and Paul's a little bit stricter, the one we call Paul, that we have, ironically, Christianity being the only religion you can find that has what we call an ecumenical or even a Catholic, small KC, Catholic type of attitude where it has the idea of compassion to people outside of your particular tribal group. So when you talk about the idea of being all these religions or somebody is compassionate, if we take away Christianity by its virtues, then there's nothing left but might makes right, ironically, because every other religion does not really adhere towards something outside of that. So to finish up, the idea of the United States is only when it comes to federal rules that they say they can have no constrictions. Best example right now, there's a gentleman who's got his hair cut who was a Rastafarian in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. And they said, hey, they don't care what he was, that's all right. Even though if I were to go try to take a yarmulke off somebody's head in prison, I'd be in trouble. Do I make any sense?
You make perfect sense.
Absolutely.
There. And that just talks about the hypocrisy of how the rules are applied. What I'm not understanding from you, Mr. Citizen, is your particular stance on whether or not the Ten Commandments are beneficial in public school.
Ten Commandments.
Say it again.
When it comes to the answer was, yeah, it depends on this. They should be allowed to, but they cannot stop some other group that would want. We always learn science, and all due respect, once I moved beyond my eyesight, I just have to go by an article of faith that there's a such thing as quantum entanglement or the idea of Planck's constant. I have to believe there's an article of faith that somebody's going to do those type of things and say a black hole is a singularity based on a gravitational twisting. So it's all a matter of how far you go from your immediate experience to decide what's going to be considered faith. Substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. So the answer is yes, they can teach it, but don't stop the other ones from teaching theirs.
Okay, thank you
Okay.
so much.
All right.
We got time. Mama D,
Hey,
you
Mama
are up.
D.
Hi there, y'all God rising. The Constitution says we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator. They don't call him God. They say their creator with certain inalienable rights. And among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So slavery made a mockery of that. They were saying they was Christians, but they were acting like heathens. And there are three things that we should consider. All laws are codified values. They come from the Ten Commandments. And the first pre-primary textbook that public school students had was ask questions like, who was the first man? Adam. Who was the first woman? Eve. Things like that. And in public
And you
schools,
agree with those questions in curriculum?
what I'm saying was, this was the first book. It was a pre-primary reader. You can look that up, and I think it might have changed in the 1900s or something like that. But this was the textbook that children learned how to read from. But my point that I want to make is that it asks those questions, and that's the book that we had for a century. And when you were in school, you had, if you was before lunch or before a snack, you had to say, God is great, God is good, let us thank him for our food, until one woman didn't want her children to say that verse. She wanted him to just sit outside and be excused from that prayerful ritual. And when they wouldn't allow her to do that, she filed a lawsuit so students can no longer say, God is great, God is good, let us thank him for our food in public schools. Now, what do I think? I think it is a Christian nation, but people do not follow Christian principles. Children are a heritage of God, and the fruit of the womb, the unborn, breathing soul, is his reward. And as long as you disrespect that, you are talking loud and saying nothing.
So, Mama D, where does it say we're a Christian nation?
I'm sorry?
Where does it? You just said you believe that we are a Christian nation. I'm asking you, where does it say that?
What is the Constitution that says you are endowed by your Creator? And the fact that you do swear on a Bible book when you're taking an oath of office, and you swear on the Bible book when you're taking the office to be the President of the United States, and when you're in a courtroom, you're swearing on a Bible book, and every time something goes down, the nation says, let us pray.
Okay, so, and I agree with that contradiction. I don't believe that we should be having people swear on the Bible. It sends mixed messages. But here's my point. Hold on. The First Amendment strictly forbids the government from establishing a state religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. In other words, there is no such thing as a state religion. Also, you are free in this country to be whatever you want to be.
And that still stands, even if they
And
mandate it.
that still stands.
Right.
And
Not if you have.
just saying, when you ask officially, if you go back to what the Constitution is saying is Christian, what they are doing,
Because they said the word
anything
God, it's
but
Christian.
Christian. No,
Because they
Creator.
use the word creator, it's Christian.
No, because they use the word Creator, and because they use a Bible book. They don't tell you to swear on a Holy Quran. They don't tell you to swear on a Buddhist Bible or anything else. It's a Bible that we recognize as a Bible. What I'm saying is, we claim to be a Christian nation based on let us pray and one nation under God. and in God we trust, which is a dollar bill, and I believe
Yes.
that.
All right. Thank you so much, Mom Betty. We're 2 minutes over break.
3.
Shut up. That's it. We'll be right back.
More from Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Chicago has always been a city of harmony, and few groups embody that better than the Emotions. Formed on Chicago's west side, the Emotions began as a gospel group before bringing their rich harmonies and soulful sound to the world. With hits like Best of My Love, Don't Ask My Neighbors, and Boogie Wonderland, they became one of the defining female vocal groups of their era. Working with fellow Chicago legends, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Emotions helped shape the sound of the 1970s, blending soul, funk, and R&B into timeless music that continues to inspire generations. From Chicago churches to stages around the world, the Emotions prove that great harmony never goes out of style. They gave Chicago its soundtrack, and the world never stopped listening.
Brought to you by AARP, a proud supporter of Black Music Month.
Summer is here, the season of sunshine, fireworks, and the freedom to enjoy what matters the most. And at United Fidelity Bank, they believe freedom starts with smart savings. Whether you're grilling with friends, riding bikes with the family, or watching fireworks light up the night, your money should be working just as hard as you do. That's why this summer, you can open up a 6-month certificate of deposit with a 4.15% annual percentage yield. It's a simple, steady way to grow your savings without giving up the freedom of summer fun. At United Fidelity Bank, they don't just focus on numbers, they focus on you, your goals, your questions, and the kind of personal service you won't find at a big box bank. Because at United Fidelity Bank, you get the experience you need and the service you deserve. Stop by their Chicago flagship branch at 1701 West 87th Street to open your 6-month 4.15% APY CD today, or anytime at UnitedFidelity.com. United Fidelity Bank, where your summer of smart savings begins.
Rates subject to change at any time. CDs renew automatically to the standard rate in effect at the time of renewal unless instructed otherwise. Member FDIC.
Matt McGill.
My brother Carl West, that's my stuff. You can use it, man. It's some cocoa butter.
What y'all doing with cocoa butter, man? What y'all doing in here? It's like puffy with baby oil, man. What are y'all doing with just cocoa butter laying around? And it's just wide open for anybody to stick their fingers in. Who's going to use this, man? I don't know whose hands been inside of here, man. Trader Joe's, they went coconut butter. They even abbreviated.
I know, right?
I don't want that.
Weekdays at noon on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no two people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart, it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. The Queen Sleep Number C2 smart bed is now only $9.90. Plus, free home delivery when you add any base. Ends Monday. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
This report is brought to you by D&W Injury Lawyers. Rear-ended at a red light? That's wrong. Tripped, fell, and hurt your back? That's wrong. Whatever the case, D&W Chicago's Injury Law Group will fight to make it right. Get the compensation you deserve. Don't wait. Call the 8s. 312-888-8888.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
I'm not ready to let you go.
All right. WVON 1690. That's right. The Talk of Chicago. You're listening to the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh. Let's go straight to those phone lines because we've been talking about is this a Christian nation? Or do we live in a Christian nation? Is the U.S. a Christian nation? Or is there a separation between church and state? We kind of went all over the place and not in a bad way. Just, I'm just thinking about it all and it just doesn't make sense in the first place.
Well, Mother Teresa's on line 5.
Let's see what she says.
I'm kidding, Miss Teresa. Thank you for calling.
Hi, Mother Teresa.
Hello.
Hi, you're live on WVON.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I wanted to respond to, the issue you're talking about having religion in the school or biblical practices. First of all, I can say that I have experienced that when I was when I first started elementary school. And of course, this was probably in the late 50s. And in this community, the way they did it, it was called Thursday school. And every Thursday, all of the schools in the entire district in the city attended what they called Thursday school, which was, they would go to the church of whatever faith or denomination that they subscribed to, and they would have educational lessons, in the study of the Bible and the scriptures. And of course, I happened to be Baptist, so I went to the First Baptist Church, which was, I walked to school. It wasn't that far from the school. But we were given time off in the mornings on Thursdays to do that. And it went right along with the curriculum in the school in terms of when we had quarterly and semester tests and final exams and all of that. So basically, I think it was very good. And the students who did not want to subscribe to any religious faith or denomination, they went to school and they had other classes that, related to just philosophy or ethics.
Okay. Well,
Or
thank you.
they may have just, if they were atheists,
Right.
they basically just had other studies that they did instead of
opted in.
attending Thursday school.
Yeah. Thank you, Teresa. Let's go to the next caller. Hey,
Brother
Art.
Chris. Ooh.
Okay. Let's go to Brother Chris.
Art, call
Good
back,
Art,
Art.
call back.
Call back, Art.
Brother Chris.
Good afternoon, family. How y'all doing?
Doing swell-tastic.
Shout out to the WVON family and condolences to Mother Khadijah passing. Also, I think this country is a Christian nation in name only or theory only, because it's very hypocritical of its actions and what it professes to be. So I say it's in name only.
That's fair.
And they still haven't repented for the greatest,
crime to
one of
humanity.
the greatest. Yep. They still, and all the some churches were part of it. They're trying to pay reparations, and again, with their mission, they were not, because on Sunday, I think Malcolm X said Sunday was the most segregated hour every week.
High noon on Sunday.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Hey, Chris, I got a question though before you go.
He just left.
He did. I wanted to know, because he still didn't say whether or not, he says in theory only, but
In name only, he said.
he said theory only, name only, same thing. My point is, what if we did act like Christians? Are we not a Christian nation because we're hypocritical, or are we not a Christian nation because of the rules?
I
because of the
think we need to
Constitution?
define what Christian means. That's what I
You can
started
ba-
with.
You can barely do that. I just looked this up.
Yeah.
How many denominations of Christianity are there? Estimates for the number of Christian denominations range from 200 to 45,000 globally. Christians can't agree on what's a Christian.
Well, then it shouldn't be used as a nation.
All right, let's
go.
go ahead, Brother Art. Thank you for calling back.
Hey, what's going on, young people? How are you?
Good.
Swell-tastic.
I believe this is just a fact. You all are entertaining foolishness when it comes to words. Who says God is a Christian word, or it's a religious, because you say thou shalt not kill, so that make it a Christian value? That, to me, that's just foolishness. Those codes of conduct and family value system, that's all so-called religious titles are. It's just a way to govern people. They just throw this religious thing on because somehow people feel more endeared if they feel something is unknown. Something, if it's unknown, makes it special. That's why you ran over there and you was kissing on the Pope because you thought somehow he had something closer to God than you. But 2 weeks ago, before he became the Pope, he was just walking down the street. He was just another old guy walking down the street that believed in some type of faith. But somehow you put your faith in somebody that you thought has something closer to God than you. This shows something wrong with your mind to even think that. Just like when we see Michelle Obama, President Barack Obama, just before they became that, she was just a black woman driving the bus, just like LaDonna Raeh or me or anybody else. But because
Hold on, I ain't never drove no bus.
I mean, I've been on the bus. I ain't been on the bus in a long time. It's not a negative thing. I'm just saying that to say we put these people in these places. Somehow you believe that they're better because they have titles. They're no more closer than God than you are if you believe in God and a higher thing. So when it comes to what you're talking about, it's just a code of conduct in the family value system that you have to govern society by. Otherwise, when what you're talking about, brother, if we let people just do what they want to do, if I believe in having sex with children, if this is America, I should be able to do that. It's free. So
we have laws in the book for that.
Yeah, hold on. We make these laws because we got boundaries, but we even bend to the boundaries of that now. So now, before you couldn't talk about a man having sex with a man, but now society has made it acceptable, and you all get on the radio, not just you specifically, and it's okay for two men to be kissing. So
that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today.
Yes,
I'm asking you, is it okay for the 10 Commandments to be in a public school setting? Yes or no?
Yeah, there's nothing but codes of conduct.
So should we just change the title to codes of conduct and not
I would prefer that. I would prefer that.
I'm asking. That's why I'm asking. Should we just change the title to codes of conduct?
Yeah, it's just codes of conduct of family value, how you're going to govern society.
Okay.
That should not kill. That's not a religious thing. You shouldn't be killing people. You shouldn't be disrespecting people. I mean, it's not a religious thing. That's just a thing you should do.
It becomes a religious thing, Art, when it's in the Bible.
The Bible is not a religious thing. It's a book. You all turn to. It's just a book. If I take the same words, hold on. If I take the same words and put those exact same words in the book and put my name on it, you gonna say it's the Bible?
Well, King James put his name on it.
You got to think.
All right, it's 45,000 denominations based on the same, roughly the same book.
Over the break again. You're gonna get us in trouble.
Oh, it's okay. Because I had to let Art speak.
Okay.
I want to
it's foolishness. This is why you stuck. You stuck in foolishness. I leave with that.
And I disagree, but I appreciate the call, brother.
I'm not stuck.
I'm not stuck at all.
Yeah.
And he never answered the question. Like this isn't.
Well, he kind of did.
Okay, but
he said those are nothing but. I don't like it when we say nothing but and nobody was anything before. I don't like that. What I do like is how people can inspire others. And you can't inspire anybody just being like everybody else.
Let me ask a question, and we can talk about it on the other side. Does the Bible or the 10 Commandments predate people? Who was here first, the Bible or people?
The people.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody had a printing machine.
Hold on.
All right,
so
I'm sorry.
People were here first, likely for thousands of years before there was ever a Bible. How did we govern ourselves then?
Well, it was pretty barbaric based on the writings on the wall.
It's barbaric now. Is it not?
True. That is true.
So that's all I'm saying.
Without consequences, or there were consequences actually. They
all
just
I'm
weren't by
saying
the government.
For Art to say, no one in this debate today has said it should be a free for all. That's not the discussion. I am not arguing the worth of the 10 Commandments. I am saying that they should not be, as a religious doctrine, they should not be in public school.
Guys,
if you want to raise your kids to do the 10 Commandments, raise them.
All right.
But that don't go into public school.
All right, sir. I'm going to go to break. I got news people waiting. You know what I'm saying? It's VON. Look, guys, we're going to go to news, traffic, and weather. And when we come back, we'll let Atiba rant. Is it rant? Yeah, rant. And we'll get the callers on the other side.
Hope you're having amazing summertime shine, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here's what's happening in your local and national news. Illinois farmers are facing growing financial pressure as farm bankruptcies have increased for the third consecutive year. Rising dead-high operating costs and low crop prices are making it difficult for many family farms to stay afloat, with bankruptcy filings in Illinois climbing 55% in 2025. Agricultural leaders warn the trend points to a deepening farm crisis that could worsen without stronger financial support and improve market conditions. In other news, Chicago and Cook County are both preparing for another increase in their minimum wage rates, taking effect in mid-2026. Chicago's minimum wage is set to rise to about $17.05 per hour starting July 1st, while Cook County's non-tip wage will increase to about $15.40 per hour. The changes are tied to annual inflation adjustments under local wage ordinances. Officials say the increases are intended to keep pay aligned with the cost of living across the region. In other news, Brookfield Zoo, Chicago is celebrating the 4th of July with special family-friendly activities, including $2.50 admission for kids only July 4th and a $17.76 family combo meal at the East Mall Beer Garden. Guests can also enjoy patriotic-themed entertainment throughout the holiday weekend, along with the zoo's summer attractions, including the new Dinos exhibit. The special holiday activities are included with regular zoo admission unless otherwise noted. In other news, Pope Leo is praying for Venezuela as the death toll from last week's earthquakes continue to rise. Speaking in Spanish Sunday at the Vatican, the pontiff prayed for the dead and injured as well as the people carrying out rescue efforts in the rubble. The Pope sent an initial donation of more than $100,000 for the victims and their families. The two quakes on Wednesday have left more than 1,400 dead, and officials fear that number will continue to grow.
I told you to fall back, so can you come pick up your clothes?
And the 2026 BET Awards were held at the Peacock Theater in Los Angeles and hosted by comedian Drewski. Kehlani won Best Female R&B Pop Artist, while Leon Thomas earned Best Male and R&B Pop Artist. And Kendrick Lamar and Cardi B took up top hip-hop honors. Clips won Album of the Year for Let God Sort 'Em Out, and Tiana Taylor was named Icon of the Year. Lauryn Hill also received the Living Legend Icon Award in a night celebrating major achievements in music and culture. I'm Logan Page, and that's what's happening in your news now on WVON 1690 AM.
When you see flashing lights on the roadside, it's the law to slow down and move over. Your first move is to ease up on your speed and safely change lanes when possible. Flashing lights are emergency responders, law enforcement, road crews, and even drivers who may be stopped on the roadside, working or waiting for help. Protect everyone on the road, including drivers like you. Move over. It's the law. It's not a game.
This is Kamini Khan, certified financial planner professional. For the past year, I've been on a mission to change lives and build wealth in our community. Together, we're changing the paradigm. This year, I'm back with a new series, Wealth Strategies, Money Talks. Join me every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on the Rufus Williams Show as we have thoughtful discussions around building wealth in our community. We'll discuss topics like investing, savings, tax strategies, retirement, and all things money. Yes, that's Tuesday at 8:30 a.m., so set those alarms. Also, be sure to check out the podcast at WVONwealthshow.com.
Komini Khan is a certified financial planner professional with Optimal Planning Partners in alliance with Equitable Advisors, LLC member SIPC in Oak Brook, Illinois. For more information, please call 630-575-5046.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Thousands of homeowners have trusted Blindster.com for their blinds that are easy to order, affordable, and guaranteed to fit. You measure at home, install yourself, and enjoy blinds made exactly for your windows. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Happy Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here is your traffic update. Dan Ryan, downtown at 95th. Slow go, 19 minutes. I-57, Ryan's I-80, stop and go traffic, 16 minutes. Bishop Ford, Ryan's I-80, 94, 11-minute delay, 23 minutes. Stevenson, DuSable, Lakeshore Drive to the Tri-State, stop and go traffic, 24 minutes. Eisenhower, Wolfton Post Office, slow go, 25 minutes. Kennedy downtown to O'Hare bumper to bumper traffic, 31 minutes. In Eden's, Montrose Lake Cook, 2-minute delay, 18 minutes. Your weather for today, Chicago. Summertime shy has arrived. Hot, humid, and heat index of 100 to 105. High of 94 and a low of 76. Tomorrow, humid, heat index of 100 and 105 again. High of 94 and a low of 77. In our city, it's currently 92 degrees and partly cloudy. I'm Logan Page, and that's your traffic and weather update on WVON 1690 AM.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
You know what, Atiba? It's time for us to get on the road again with WVON, of course. And this time we're taking you to Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Introducing the Rufus Williams Travel Club in partnership with Advantage International. Charleston isn't just another trip. It's a cultural experience. From the roots of Gullah Geechee heritage. I want to say Geechee now. It's in my head. It's Geechee, right? Mm-hmm. All right, thanks. Let's try it again. From the roots of Gullah Geechee heritage to International African American Museum, plus food, history, and waterfront views that hit different. Space is limited, and this one will move fast. Lock your spot now. Visit WVON.com and click the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner.
All right, we are back on the afternoon show. Woo! That was fun. I really enjoy the spirited debates.
Yeah.
That
knew we were going to go back and forth, but
I did.
It kind of took a turn. It took a couple of turns, which I like because you may feel one way, strongly one way initially for me.
Mm-hmm.
Then you think about it and go, well, maybe you're stepping on some toes there. Maybe it's unfair. But I also feel like we have the freedom of choice.
Mm-hmm.
And with that freedom of choice, the curriculum that is being presented to our children, if we don't like it, if we're that involved and we see that we don't agree with it, then we have to make other choices, which is what we always have the strength and the opportunity to do. But as you know, we kind of don't take, I'm not saying us as a whole, but I used to pick my son, where I was going to live based on the parent participation. And the parent participation is unfortunately very low in Black communities. But you go elsewhere, northwest suburbs, straight north, you go to Logan Square, Lincoln Park, and the parent participation numbers are off the chain. And you know, why is that? And so I don't want our parents to only participate when they're not for a situation, but always participate. That way we can be a part of the decisions being made when it comes to our children's schools, not just this one, but many other issues that matter when it comes to our children's schools. We got to get activated and we got to participate.
All right, we're going to get back to these phone calls. Thunderbird.
I went to Thornwood. We were Thunderbirds.
You're on WVON.
Thank you for accepting my call. Can you hear me?
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you. I want to say that, no, the Ten Commandments, no, it should not be in any school. It should be, all that whole Bible should be torn up and given back to all the cultures where they stole the wisdom from to compact that Bible. The Bible is a book of witchcraft. It's a book of witchcraft, and it's got our people so enamored with it. There's great wisdom throughout the Bible, but it's stolen from all kind of different cultures. The Ten Commandments, part of the Ten Commandments, was stolen from the 42 laws of Mayotte. And then you also have the Code of Hammurabi, where that was stolen from, the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, things of that nature. It goes on and on. These are things that were stolen from cultures and compiled and made into one people's doctrine. And it's a book of witchcraft to have us feeling a certain way about a certain culture. And it always puts us on the bottom, and the ones who are empowered the European on the top.
Thank you for that, Thunderbird. That's a very, very unique perspective.
I thought you were going to say salient.
No,
all right,
not that time.
Because it stood out.
JT, you are on WVON.
Hi, JT.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Well, I was this the guy before him, Art. You know, I listened to what he was saying, and it made no sense whatsoever. You know, I bet you he's the same type of person that at events stand up and pledge his allegiance to a flag. I don't believe nothing that guy says.
But what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on us being a Christian nation, or should we put the 10 Commandments into the public schools?
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I think it starts at home first.
Agreed.
Before you instill any of that into anyone, you know, it's common sense. You don't have to go out and tell nobody not to shoot nobody if they got common sense, right?
Well, but see, it's happening though. Maybe people need a reminder. Because if it was common sense, we wouldn't have these shootings.
No, it's not that. It's that they don't understand the consequences. The difference between common sense and consequences.
I don't agree with that, JT. I think they understand the consequences, but I think they don't understand making a different choice at the time that they pull that trigger.
Well, go ahead and finish making your point.
Yeah,
JT.
I apologize. I was getting all in your business. Please finish. I apologize.
No. So do you say you said consequences? You don't think they you think if they knew the consequences behind their actions and they really understood that they would still do it?
Yes, they understand the consequences. It's not hidden. It's not a secret. People know what the consequences are, but they think they can get away with it. And they also choose to do it. Killing someone is a choice.
That is true.
So they made that choice. And I know the consequence after making the choice.
Okay, so that said, what is the worth then of having the 10 Commandments in a school?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say yeah. Let me tell you the reason why. Because everything is a spirit. Everything that you touch, everything that we do is a spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if that spirit can dwell in you for good, then yes. Yes. Think about it. I mean, every season, just like, you Christmas time, you say you're not in the Christmas spirit because that's a spirit. Once enough people indulge in it, it starts to become a spirit and it takes flight to the point that you would think that one would say, well, wow, I feel a little different now. I'm starting to feel different. That's a spirit that comes over you.
Thanks, JT. Thank you so much. Guys, we're going to go to traffic and weather. And when we come back, more of your calls on the other side.
More from Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Chicago has always been a city of harmony, and few groups embody that better than the Emotions. Formed on Chicago's west side, the Emotions began as a gospel group before bringing their rich harmonies and soulful sound to the world. With hits like Best of My Love, Don't Ask My Neighbors, and Boogie Wonderland, they became one of the defining female vocal groups of their era. Working with fellow Chicago legends, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Emotions helped shape the sound of the 1970s, blending soul, funk, and R&B into timeless music that continues to inspire generations. From Chicago churches to stages around the world, the Emotions prove that great harmony never goes out of style. They gave Chicago its soundtrack, and the world never stopped listening.
Brought to you by AARP, a proud supporter of Black Music Month.
If you spend hours looking at screens, remember the 20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. It's a simple way to reduce digital eye strain and keep your eyes comfortable. This healthy reminder is sponsored in part by Dr. Ansel T. Johnson and Vision Salon Eye Care Associates.
This June on Vaughn TV, the culture takes center stage. First, dive into the stories behind today's biggest names in music with a new original series, now trending hip hop. From the lyrical mastery of Kendrick Lamar, the fearless creativity of Doechii, to the genre-bending brilliance of Doja Cat and Tyler, the Creator. Discover how these artists are shaping music, culture, and the future of hip-hop.
Chart topping, genre bending, culture defining. These are the new voices. The digital poets of a generation raised on hustle, hashtags, and heartbreak. They're not waiting for a seat at the table. They're building their own. This is more than music. This is a movement. This is hip-hop.
And for music lovers who appreciate where it all began, don't miss Echoes Across the Tracks, the history of the blues. Narrated by Morgan Freeman, this powerful documentary traces the roots of the blues from the Mississippi Delta to its worldwide impact, exploring the music that helped generations endure, inspire, and overcome.
You ever go into any club and they're playing that kind of music, it's not rock and roll, it's blues. It's blues rock or blues, whatever, it's got that backbeat on it.
From the roots of the blues to the future of hip-hop, it's all happening this June on Vaughn TV. Stream anytime on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and at Vaughn TV.
Hey, child.
It's Rufus Williams.
The radio keeps our ear to the pavement so we know what's going on in the community. And I got to say, what and how you've been doing it as my frat brother, but more importantly, what VON does, you are the new Ebony Jet that keeps our community connected.
Well, thanks. That's a huge compliment.
Weekdays at 7 a.m. on The Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Trouble sleeping lately? Upgrade to the great sleep you deserve at Mattress Firm's July 4th sale. Choose from a curated selection of top brands and let their sleep experts help you narrow it down. They make sleep easy.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on The Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
We're back on the afternoon show, 5:52, putting a button on this conversation concerning whether or not we are a Christian nation and if we should have the 10 Commandments and be teaching Bible verses in public school settings. Again, that's the caveat, public school settings. All right, we've got two callers, JW and Brother Aubrey. We're going to go to you first, JW. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for taking my call. I wouldn't say that the 10 Commandments should be in the schools, but the last 6 commandments should be everywhere. Homes, every public building, everywhere, because they pertain to how you treat your fellow man. And they're not words of the Bible to me. They are words of wisdom, period. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, there's a lot of wisdom in the Bible. No one is disputing that. And it's a great call, JW.
Well, the caller that called in and said tear it up was disputing that. He said it was a book of witchcraft.
Yeah, that was different.
Mm-hmm.
But I see where he's, because there are going to be a lot of people that just say, look, that's the slave master's book. What we doing with that?
I just said they were holding up Bibles while they were lynching us.
But JW, you're making a different point. Give me a couple of the 6 you are talking about.
Honor thy father and thy mother. So that's number 5. Number 6 is thou shalt not kill. And the 7th one is thou shalt not commit adultery. The 8th one is thou shalt not make false.
Thou shalt not steal.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, and thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, wife, manservant, whatever, anything that belongs to your neighbor.
What is the commandment then that talks about not serving any other God?
Those are the first 4. I said those are pertaining to God, how you serve God, but the last 6 pertain to how you serve your fellow man. That's why I say if you don't want to take out the God part, you can take that out, but the last 6 are pertain to how you relate to your fellow man.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying then it doesn't matter that they're in the Bible.
It doesn't matter. It's just words of wisdom.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your perspective.
I agree. I said that earlier.
Did you though?
I did. What do you mean, did I?
Brother Aubrey. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Brother Aubrey.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
I would say no, they're not a Christian nation because Christians mean one crystallized into the oneness of God through the example of Jesus Christ. Jesus told the leadership that they draw near to me with their mouths, but their works and actions are far from me. You can't be Christian and drop bombs on innocent men, women, and babies, for natural resources and claim Christianity.
And in the name of God.
Yeah,
on a
these are
school day.
hypocrites. They had Bibles in their hand when they was lynching us. And you can't be no Christian following Jesus. Jesus healed the sick, cleansed the lepers, fed the hungry, taught people, didn't ask for no money. If you don't have no insurance, they'll dump you out on the street. They had to create a law called MTELA. They do have to stabilize you before they can let you go if you don't have insurance. But these are hypocrites, and the rituals, pagan rituals mixed into half of the teachings of Jesus, and they call it Christianity. When Constantine had his vision in 325 AD, he mixed pagan rituals in with the new faith so that they control. And that's what I say about it.
All right. Thank you so much.
And
for the call.
I think about it. Think about everything that came through here. The Bible, religion, Christianity has been used as a weapon. It has been used to control the people, to scare the people, to create scarcity. But what it has not been is consistent with actions and intentions. If my intentions based on what I've read in the Bible are good, then my actions will reflect my intentions. But if what I read in the Bible says that I have to do A and my actions show something completely off the Richter scale, then I'm not following my own. I'm not truly showing my or should I say, I'm not showing my intentions that should be formed from reading the Bible and following my Christianity or my religion, no matter what religion it is, So I think we separate because of the separation of religion more so than anything. But if you take a look at what's in the 10 Commandments, there's no harm in what's in the 10 Commandments, especially 5 through 10. And I think if we talk more to our children about it at home, it won't be such a shocker when it shows up in the schools, because like Art said, it's just a list of principles, and it's no harm, in my opinion, that in having it in the schools. I just don't think it's any harm in it. You can change the name of it.
So that's an easy perspective to take when you're in the majority. And to me, that's part of the problem. So many of us have had the comfort of being in the majority that we can't conceptualize what it's like to be in the minority.
What's the majority?
Christian. So
I don't claim a religion.
Okay, let me make a point. If you went to a school, a public school, and instead of Bible verses, every day they started reading from the Quran, Christians would feel a way about that.
I don't think I would, because my brother used to read the Quran to me, and there was some good information in there. It's a book.
Again, I'm not debating whether there's good information in either book. That is not my point. Is Christians have the comfort of being the first chosen, of being the default, and anything outside of the default. You show me if a bunch of Jewish rabbis came teaching at a public school.
Well, the Romans came and insisted on their religion being blanketed over certain nations anyway.
Yeah, and that was wrong. So my point is, when it's a public school, you have to make accommodations for everybody or nobody. But you don't, just because you're in the majority doesn't mean your religion gets to come to the forefront.
Well, I tell you what, since it's an all black school, bring back African American studies. How about that?
We do have African Americans.
Yeah, trying to get rid of it though. Come on now.
All right. I don't know where we're going anymore. So On that note, LaDonna, take us home.
I'll tell you what, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. And thank you so much for joining us today. Of course, you can go to YouTube if you missed any of this and subscribe to our channel, WVON 1690. And you can watch on demand all of the shows. That's right, all of them, as long as you go to YouTube. And we love all of you for subscribing, following, and sharing. Make sure you share the show because this was a heated conversation. That's it for the afternoon show. Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh. Bye-bye for now.
Only 4 days left of the work week, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. Art Norman reflects on passing of Farrakhan's wife. Bulls honor late Stacey King with celebration of life. Car crashes into Chicago fire hydrant, killing 2 and injuring several more. Sky sign Aisha Coulibaly to rest off-season contract. 2 deaths found hanging from trees spark public concern. And Trump reacts to major Supreme Court rulings. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, 1690 AM, WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
WIN News Now. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani says Democratic Socialists can get elected anywhere across the country. Mamdani appeared on ABC's This Week after 3 candidates he endorsed won their primary congressional election races.
I think we are seeing a hunger that is not just felt by New Yorkers, but frankly by Americans from coast to coast for a new kind of politics, one that puts working people at the heart of it.
Republicans have sought to use Mamdani's success and Democratic Socialist leanings to suggest the party is only growing more radical. Rescue efforts continue in Venezuela as officials fear the death toll will continue to rise from Wednesday's massive earthquakes. More than 1,400 people are confirmed dead and nearly 69,000 others remain missing. And the Wimbledon Championship will begin today at the All England Club with Serena Williams returning in singles. I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now.
Thank you, Misty. We have several major rulings from the U.S. Supreme Court that could be of interest to you. First, the High Court ruled President Trump cannot fire Dr. Lisa Cook as the governor of the Federal Reserve. President Trump had attempted to fire Cook, the first black woman to be confirmed to the board, over allegations of mortgage fraud. Her lawyers had argued Trump did not have the authority to do so. In their decision today, the High Court decided not to pause a lower court ruling that allowed Cook to continue to stay in office as the case plays out in court. In another case, the U.S. Supreme Court is ruling in favor of counting mail-in ballots postmarked by Election Day that are received after Election Day. The court issued the 5-4 decision this morning. The ruling said a Mississippi law that allows mail-in ballots to be counted if they are postmarked by and received within 5 days of Election Day is not preempted by federal Election Day statutes. The Republican National Committee had challenged the Mississippi law. And the Supreme Court has rejected President Trump's bid to overturn the verdict that found he sexually assaulted and defamed E. Jean Carroll. The ruling means the $5 million civil judgment and verdict against the president will remain in place. You may recall last Thursday, the U.S. Supreme Court cleared the way for the Trump administration to cut off temporary legal protections for thousands of Haitians and Syrians. Attorney Matthew Hanley, who specializes in federal immigration law, says the ruling may have a wider impact.
The Somalis would be in the same situation that the Haitians and the Syrians were last week. They're just in a limbo status and largely should expect TPS to end.
Experts are now saying Ethiopian immigrants may also be affected. If immigrants lose their protected status, they will have to find another legal status to stay in America, leave the country, or risk deportation. More decisions from